Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. It is I, Jesse Milestone, coming to you on this Friday with both good news and bad news.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Where people were just walking around, just jizzing force all over the place. He looks like he has been drinking soy from his mother's teat. Wrap yourselves in, guys, because we are gonna get mean!
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. It is your God Empress, Jesse Milestone, and I am joined not by my usual co-host today, but by a hopefully familiar face to all of you, Mecha Random 42. Welcome to the Matriarchy, Mecha Random. How are you?
I just popped collagen. I just popped a collagen ring. I'm like, I have it. It's chewier than I expected.
Is it delicious though?
It's peach, and I hate peach, but I'm kind of getting used to peach.
There you go.
It's very bitter.
I like peach flavor. We don't do collagen, but we have this like weird all natural nasal supplement that we take sometimes, and we just got ashwagandha, which is a natural supplement for stress relief, etc. And are also just the word we say in celebration is a couple because reasons. So
Then I have these guys. More vitamins. I've been taking vitamins because that's the thing that nobody said to do last year. Like, why not? Why not?
My friend got such from being indoors, and she was like, yeah, and whenever we were out of doors, everyone had their faces covered, which is, in the wintertime, the only place you get your vitamin D from and all that. She got a horrible vitamin D deficiency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's on a huge supplement now, like a prescribed prescription level vitamin D. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad we started walking. Jeff and I started going for walks last fall, and like immediately started feeling better about just life and everything. So
yeah, I feel better when I'm taking vitamins. I stopped for a couple months, and then I stopped exercising, and I'm like, I gotta do this again, so I feel better.
It's amazing how you'll slowly stop those things, and you're like, wow, I feel like ass. Why do I feel like such ass today? And you're like, wait, because I don't do any of the things that are good for me anymore ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Maybe that's why. Who do we got in the chat today? We got Shadow Warchild, Guillermo Coronado. It says, hail, beautiful Queens, Mecca, and Jesse. That's what I wanted to click on. Hail, Guillermo Coronado. Jeremy Smurf, happy El Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to anybody observing.
It is Cinco de Mayo.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
I have a Cinco de Mayo story, but that might be for later.
I'm excited. I'm excited. You better remember to tell it because I'm holding it.
All right. Remind me in chat to tell it after we get through the intros. I just remembered.
Gunnar Renee Oy, stop Peaches hate. There's no Peaches hate here. We love Peaches. We just support Peaceful. Andy McCallum, hello, that limey. How are you? Optic Racer 21. John Thomas, our beloved Harpy, indeed. North Road Caveman, man. Davian Donaldson, did I say you already? Maybe not. Anyway, and all of you other wonderful people, welcome to the Matriarchy. Matt G says hello, and thank you for the super chat. First,
no nachos.
One.
He usually super chats nachos and pie. And
I've been getting all of the Mandy Summers-esque, the Mandy Summers disciple style super chats. Have you seen them when he sends those?
I get like the Dumacorns. Is that what they're called now? I used to call them Derpicorns because of the She-Ra thing way back in the day. I think they're called Dumacorns now.
Yeah.
And forgive me, I'm dumb. Then sometimes people are like, they do the say what, and I didn't know that was her thing. And then I'm like, oh yeah, duh. So sometimes they'll do that. I'm like, I can't do it. That's her thing.
I don't care whose things or what things. I will steal from. No, I don't steal from anybody. If I do it, I will make very, very obvious that I'm parodying, such as, what's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video. And today,
I heard a guy completely unrelated do that on I think, but he didn't say geeks and gamers, like, hey, what's up, YouTubers or something. But he said it exactly the same way.
Oh my God. Jeff used to get that's art. We'll get mad at each other if we don't pronounce it. Video. It's the law in our house. Jeremy's part of our lives. For better or for worse. Actually, Jeremy is our safe word because we know for fact that whatever arousal is happening will be dead instantly. One of us shouts, Jeremy!
Is he boner killer?
The ultimate boner killer. Because why would you settle for a slightly above average peen when you could have? I mean,
I wouldn't know.
I'm just saying.
We aren't that familiar.
I'm just saying. You can
Also,
take
the
my
orgy
word for
towel were
it.
greatly exaggerated, mostly by me. I don't know.
Xenomorph Skull Hunter 79 says, "What it be like, ladies? Well, it'd be like this. It'd be like this, apparently. And to distract you from big dicks, it's Mecha Random's Cinco de Mayo story."
No, there's dicks involved.
Never mind. To continue with the theme of dicks, it's Mecha Random's Cinco de Mayo story.
So the first time I ever happened to do the giggity was on a May 5th on a Cinco de Mayo. And The Simpsons was on, and that's not very sexy.
No, that God. Mine was also a holiday. It was St. Patty's Day. We were in his mother's basement. Or no, we were in his mother's house, obviously. His room was in the basement. And while we were banging, his mom came down to do laundry.
Oh no.
She's just, right down in the other room, and she's just talking to him. "Hey kids, do you want to get lunch after I'm done laundry?" "Sure. We're kind of busy, Mom. Can we talk about this later?" It was and then he bought me a butterfly knife.
Now, my mom has a superstition about knives that if you give somebody a knife, then they're your enemy. I don't know. It's an old
Well,
lifestyle,
we're
I
not
guess.
together anymore. I love knives. I have definitely given them as gifts before, but I'm also definitely not with that guy anymore. I wouldn't consider him an enemy, just somebody I would never want to see ever again.
Now the chat's catching up. Now they're laughing. They're laughing at me. I'm sorry.
Oh, they're laughing with you or near you, adjacent to you specifically. Shadow Warchild has a feeling about the stream, as do I. Good question. Good statement, I guess. Good place to start. Reality check numero uno. My Superman is not black. Get at me. Hashtag hail the matriarchy. Hashtag support the Vendom Menace. So have you heard it is confirmed that the black Superman is Kal-El? What are your thoughts and feelings about the race swapping Superman?
I was wondering. I did a video on this where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get attacked for having an opinion. So, okay, my opinion is this: they shouldn't race swap existing characters. It would kind of look funny to have the sort of all-American, boy next door from the middle of nowhere, Kansas, not blend into the demographic and the population at the time in, Smallville. Is it Kansas? It's Kansas, right? And so officially, don't race swap the character. Retire it. It's an old character. It's kind of out of date. It's kind of out of touch. It kind of doesn't really match modern day, sort of stuff. So retire the character. Use one of your other black Superman characters that you already have. But I kind of compared this though. I said, well, why aren't the wokey wokes using the term like they usually like to do? Do you remember last year when Barnes and Noble was called out for literary blackface? Where they put all the Frankenstein monster and Sherlock, all their public domain books that they always have as like their classic section that they reprint every 5 months. Pretty much, they just put new art on there. And yes, they did have artists of color and diverse artists to do the artwork, but they didn't change the stories on the inside. And the SJW types called it out as literary blackface. So I'm like, well, why wouldn't they call this cinematic blackface?
Yeah.
Isn't that what this kind of is? I mean, you're just putting this character in a costume that they're not because that is your trend of the month. You're trying to appease this modern day movement, this modern day political push, this modern day,
That's always been the weird thing for me with Hollywood, with the place that the Hollywood narrative fits with the larger social justice narrative. It's weirdly exempt from being called out for the virtue signal. It's like everywhere else, the books, the magazines, online publications, video games, all these people now are getting called out. Oh, you're fake virtues. The SJWs are going after them mostly because they're running out of people to go after, but they're calling out the fake virtue signalers now. Exactly. Oh, it's not enough for you to try to pander to us. You got to do it our way and the right way, except Hollywood. They have always been the biggest, the greatest culprit of these blatant pandering transgressions, and yet they are never held to task. They're praised for it. They're held up. They're given fucking awards for this shit. They're the ones giving out awards for this shit.
They're patting themselves on that. Look how good we are. We're so much better than you bunch of racists. Like, really? You're hiding behind the color of people's skin, and you're using people of like an accessory. You're using the LGBTQ people as an accessory. Yeah. And we're the istophobes. Are you kidding?
And the crazy thing to me, exactly, it's like you can call it out when you put all the Hollywood elites in one room together. It's clear as day. It's on display at the Oscars. Oh, we're going to give the longest speech of the night to Tyler Perry for his fucking little humanitarian award. And we're going to talk about the brave men and women of color. And we're going to talk about diversity all fucking night. And then at the end, the award we know you're all going to be pissed off about, we're going to give to a white guy and turn off the show. Bye. You couldn't be more blatant with it, and everyone fucking called you out for it, as they should have. But for some reason, now when it's just Superman, now when it's just Kal-El, now when it's just one movie, one property, one super fucking woke black writer making a difference, now it's great. Now it's the greatest thing to ever happen. Like,
it's gonna. Well, that's the guy. That's the guy who basically said that the how do I put this? Can I even say those days? The ninth month of the year, there's a certain day that look like two eyes next to each other. He said that the firefighters and the public service people from that were what did he call them? What did he call them? I know I just screenshotted it. He said something really nasty here.
Yeah,
when I make a point, I should probably remember it.
And he talked about how, like, on that day, how annoying it was to hear the sirens going by. Like, the worst part about 9/11 was how annoying it was to hear the sirens going by all day long.
What a piece of crap! Like, seriously,
like, wow, have a fucking soul, Jesus. It's
menaces of nature. He called first responders menaces of nature when he spoke to West Point.
Wow.
That's like okay. I say a lot of stupid shit. I admit it. I know I say a lot of stupid shit, usually to kind of get a laugh, not to really actually be heartless, because I don't actually mean the things I say.
I feel like when you're at the point of giving a speech to West Point, you need to be beyond, wanting to be a fucking 20-year-old James Gunn provocateur.
Yeah. That's just. I mean, I don't think he was saying it jokingly. I don't think he was saying it for shock value. I think he's genuinely a selfish brat who thinks he's entitled to everything because people tiptoe around him, and I think he just has a lot of a hate in his heart for people, and I think he genuinely was inconvenienced by 9/11 sirens or whatever. And I said, I think he was inconvenienced by sirens and first responders. It's like, dude, bigger picture here.
Exactly, dude. When I was a kid, I remember thinking 3 or so days into this, man, why can't we watch something else? All the TV is all it is, 9/11 over and over and over and over. And I thought that because I was 11.
Yeah.
And now that no, but even as an 11-year-old, my parents still explained to me the world is changing. Like, this is an earth-shattering event. This is important. It was explained to me that this mattered. It wasn't. And at the age of 11, I could get over the inconvenience. I can get over the inconvenience it caused me as a fucking 11-year-old into adulthood. If it happened as an adult, the inconvenience wouldn't even have fucking registered. Goddamn, when LA was shut the fuck down, when it was a goddamn ghost town and all you heard was sirens screaming all night long because people were dying of COVID every other goddamn minute, was I sitting here going, man, the sirens are so annoying? I was sitting here going, goddamn, I can't believe this is the world I live in, where, the parks down the street have become basically triage centers. I wasn't sitting there going, oh God, poor me, I can't sleep because there's a siren every hour. I'm sitting there going, God damn, another one. Wow, I hope it's not a fucking fatality. But no, whatever. It's cool. Just I'm sure whatever sleep you were trying to get or peace of mind you personally were trying to have in that moment was way more important than whatever those sirens were trying to communicate. Down in the streets where the fucking
that's just like somebody saying, "Oh, gee, I can't get my latte because somebody had a car accident in front of me."
You know what it is? It's the people who bitch that they couldn't go shopping at the store on Black Friday after they trampled someone to death on the way in.
Yeah.
It's a level of human entitlement that is so disgusting to me. I'm like, you don't deserve because you are so inconsiderate about the lives of everybody else around you, you don't really deserve to have yours.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing with it except making the rest of ours worse?
And what gets me is there's just a lack of self-awareness with a lot of people. Like, they don't understand that. I was like, okay, well, what if it was you? What if it was, flip this? And they don't understand. So I think that's humanity, though. I do it. I know I get that way. I know. I'm sure you just Google Mecca hypocrite. I say things contradictory all the time, but
here's the thing: is how many other people will sit here? Like, I think you apologize more than like the amount that you apologize for saying dumb things or things whatever is more than things you say that piss people off or sound whatever. Like, so you're in that place, and there are plenty of people who are aware. Like, yeah, hypocrisy really bothers me and really pisses me off. Am I occasionally guilty of that? Of course. Have I done or said things in moments that are not the right thing or not? I fucking have a video on my channel still that says, I'm sorry, I fucked up. If you desperately want to go find what I did when I fucked up, I could have erased that video ages ago because no one remembers what it was. That video only sits there to serve as a memory of the thing I did that was wrong, and my apology for it, my owning up to it. I could erase that video, I could take it down, and no one is ever gonna fucking remember that thing even happened. But you know what, it did, and I'm fucking human, and I owned it and I apologize for it. So if you want to go find out why I was an asshole a few years ago, go find out. It's right there. I don't care. We're human fucking beings. But to not have had a goddamn apology tour for those statements and to still be working, not even working in Hollywood, to just still be working, to still have a job.
What the hell? What's this guy's name? I can't even remember his name. His name just does not register.
It's not. It's so unimportant. Like, I can never pronounce it when I see it, and it's just it makes me angry. So I don't want to remember him.
I know. Well, and I just screenshot a whole bunch of shit he said. He says crap like about just he is one of these activists that think that that he can other people. He's one of the. That's all this is, and without even getting specific. It's no different than like what LeVar Burton said recently about all this. Oh, well, we need to have people held accountable. And like, really, LeVar Burton, who played a deaf mute in 1979 on a TV movie,
right?
And you're not, you played a blind guy too. So
yeah. So wow, I guess you need to be canceled then. Cancel your fucking self.
I just saw they're canceling Sarah Paulson because she was in a fat suit playing Linda Tripp.
Oh my God, what? So what? Now we have to cast people who are overweight or force actors to gain unhealthy amounts of weights for roles?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's unacceptable. You cannot cancel people for that. Fucking canceling is wrong. Canceling is wrong, period, and full stop. There is no canceling. There's no business of, no, you deserve to be canceled, or it's accountability, not canceling, or whatever, or consequences. No, it's call it what it is. If the punishment does not fit the crime, if the punishment is more severe than the crime, it's fucking canceling. If you're deplatforming people over things they say, it's canceling. Yeah, it's if you're preventing people from working ever again because you hate them that much, it's fucking canceling. Ha, good one, Northern. Her name was Sarah Paulson. I
actually get the joke. I haven't seen Fight Club in forever, but I get the joke.
Dude, I love Fight Club so much. Speaking of movies we love, one of my all-time favorites turned 21 today. Gladiator is now old enough to drink. And so it came out May 5th of 2000. Isn't that crazy?
2000 was 21 years ago.
That was 21 years ago, was the turn of the century. Isn't that fucking nuts? The millennium, that was 20. God. So which means that this year is the year that children who were born in this millennium, who never even saw the 90s, will be old enough to drink this year.
Wow. I never
There
even
will
saw
be
the 90s.
There will be adults legally consuming alcohol who don't understand what it means to be from last millennium.
It always blows my mind that there's people who are grown adults who have never lived in a day without a cell phone or without the internet.
Yes, it is.
And they just don't understand.
They don't. There's something, there's every generation gets new things, gets things made easier, and goes, you don't understand it, you don't understand it, you understand. But really, the difference that internet changed so much. It has made so many things so easy that I think that this generation doesn't understand our struggle. I think this is the first time where that's really, really a bad thing.
Well, I think
where it's like okay, if you didn't know how to use a fucking abacus, but you had a calculator.
Yeah, I think since electricity. I mean, because you have people
That
who grew up with electricity and without, and people who grew up with electricity will not be able to figure out how to wash their own clothes by hand. They're not going to figure out how to do anything by hand.
No, that's very true. Exactly. No, it's another one. That was another. I think since then there hasn't been another one that has so radically softened the generation that followed. Because you're so right. There's so much that that it just the electricity was probably the last big step to go like, all right, so many things that are just simple. You don't need to know how to build a fire anymore. You don't need to know how to heat shit on its own. Sanitizing things became so much easier with the ability to heat things. All these things. You're right. That's actually interesting. And now you have this. It's the same simplification of
Oh, people don't have to. You don't have to wait for anything at all. You don't have to wait to look something. You don't have to wait. Like, I need to know when this event happened in history. No, you can just look it up. You don't have to wait for the library to open. You don't have to remember or retain anything. You can just look it up, forget it, and it's gone. I mean, I always say we have the knowledge of the entire world at our fingertips, and we don't retain any of it. We don't actually use it for good. We don't use it to do anything other than just yell at each other on social media.
It's true. And it's crazy when you think about it. Like, that is information. I took an entire class my senior year of high school. We had to for the IB program called the Theory of Knowledge. It was an epistemology class. Like an entire class on on how do we know what we know. Now, whatever the first words in bold are on top of Google, people accept as the absolute fucking gospel truth. It's like, I tend to study and write papers on how do we know if something is the truth, even if we prove it mathematically, even if we prove it through a historical lens, through a logical lens, through a whatever lens. How do we know what we know? And everyone today is like, oh, Google said so it must be true. How do we accept such? It's an acceptance of ignorance in a different way than people think. Because as the acceptance of ignorance, they're just like, okay, we'll just allow ourselves to be stupider and it's fine, which we have done. But then there's that deeper level of we have, and I think like the fucking terms and service were the harbinger of this. The little Apple's terms and service conditions, iTunes terms and service agreements, and all the ones that followed. We were conditioned to accept not knowing how this stuff works. Like, sure, the technical specs about how to build a goddamn computer and how, information transmitted through cyberspace, whatever. But in terms of like, who has our information, what information is gathered from us, what input is received from us, what is required for us to give or give up, have these things, we have accepted a state of total complacency, of saying, I don't care. So,
well, it's easier. We want it easy because we've been trained that, easy means we have time for fun or time for whatever.
Exactly.
And I was looking. There's some charts here. Yeah, the IQs are going down. It looks like over the last few decades. I can't find specifically, but I remember hearing about that people's IQs have been going down and down and down.
Part of that's because the stupid people are breeding too.
Yeah. I mean, idiocracy is absolutely correct. You have more people who breed indiscriminately and they don't think it through, and then people who are like, well, maybe I should wait. And then they wait too long. People who are smarter or more fiscally reasonable, financially reasonable.
Exactly. No, exactly. That's exactly the climate that we're slowly working ourselves into. And without some sort of massive educational reform, we're just going to become a country of morons, a world of morons, a
Well,
society.
we could have been there if we had only all gathered together and elected Kanye.
If only
I'm
Kanye would have saved us all.
I think I'm too loud. I think I'm getting some echo when I yell. So I'm trying not to yell.
Yell away. That's fine. I like it.
I can back off from the mic too.
Actually, here's what I think sometimes I keep my mic and my speakers too close together. So let me move that a little bit. That should help.
I know my mic usually blows people out too.
Yeah. I like when StreamYards has a good day and fixes that problem for me. Talk to you, it's History Corner. Goddamn, so I just went halves on 40 acres with my dad. How was your day? Not that exciting. Tomorrow I'll find out if I get to go halves on a 2-bedroom apartment with Jeff. But if I had just invested in 40 acres, I would be thinking about all the horses I was about to own. God, that sounds great. What would you do with 40 acres?
40 acres, I would build a giant fortress and probably hide away from humanity and build up supplies and armies to I don't know, or just play music and eat edibles and stuff. Probably probably nothing. Probably just play video games.
Like very, very violently defended, vaguely hippie commune. No.
Maybe.
You can't really. We smoke pot and we hang out and we play video games. We're not hippies, so
it's not hippie.
That flower power shit. We have big guns defending ourselves out on the perimeter. So. MJ1 Media. Speaking of big dicks, glad I arrived just in time. All right, toot your own horn much. Welcome, MJ1 Media. Welcome to the party. Gunnar Renee, thank you for the zero chat. I wonder where ballad songs fit in the knife love code. Well, I mean, a ballad song, if it's sharp, is just a butterfly knife. But I have like a practice one that's a flat blade that someone sent me so I could practice doing tricks and not stab myself. And I feel like that would be, an expression of love. What's the weirdest? I feel like I've asked you this before, but maybe it's changed since the last time. What's the weirdest thing you've gotten in a P.O. box?
Gotten in the P.O. box.
I know I've asked you previously. So
I think still the weirdest is probably the garter belt. Might still be the weirdest. I don't think anybody sent me anything weirder since.
Yeah.
And stockings.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know where the bag is now. Thank God, it's scary. Somebody sent me a bag. TC the Mandalorian sent me a bag of Carolina Reaper cheese balls.
Ooh.
And I ate one on air last Tuesday.
That sounds hot.
I felt like my mouth was bleeding. I had to continuously drink, swish, and swallow milk. And after swallowing, it was like, all right, we'll got to wait about 10 seconds where my mouth is on flaming fire again to the point where I need to add more milk or whipped cream. And I still need to I'm going to pull the clip of that and publish it on the channel for anyone who didn't tune in live. So.
Ow.
Yeah, it was funny. It was painful.
I can do ghost pepper. I have ghost pepper burritos, and I had people. I said, okay, well, $50 super chat, and we'll go and eat the ghost pepper burrito on air. So I did that, and it was freaking hot. And then I added hot sauce on top of that, like a dumbass.
Jesus Christ! Yeah,
but they're okay. I can kind of handle them. They're actually pretty good.
See, I have no spice tolerance, so I can't go into any spicy foods thinking I'm eating food. I can do hot challenges like this. I could do the hot wings challenge, no problem. I'm just going in acting like, okay, I'm sitting down and subjecting myself to mouth torture. That's what I'm doing here. I'm having mouth torture. That's all I'm doing here. I'm not eating food or enjoying wings or delicious, whatever. See if I can hang with eating spicy wings. I'm having mouth torture now. And if I can survive the mouth torture, then I win. And that is how I would approach it.
Wasn't there studies where women can handle pain more, they have a higher pain threshold in general just because of physiology? And
yes, because apparently making babies is one of the most painful things you can undergo, and so we must be therefore be primed to be able to, I don't know, have our pelvis literally split open. So.
Ow.
Yeah.
I don't wanna
right. Part of me, I look down though and I'm like, God gave me childbearing hips. Part of me is curious to see how well they work, Like,
That's
is it maybe
cool.
just, maybe, I remember I'm hitting that prime age, but my mom started late and had an easy time with it. So I'm like, I got like 7 more years. Xenomorph Skull Hunter says, with your powers combined, I am Mecha Milestone. I don't know if you saw what I called the stream today. I called it the Random Matriarchy.
Oh, that works. That
Like
works.
matriarchy, but more random.
That works. I do go off on tangents randomly from time to time.
I mean, this has actually been a more focused conversation than most of the regular matriarchies. So
I'm trying to pay attention.
This is a great point, Diego Flores. Don't forget the fact that Michael B. Jordan said he didn't want this and wanted to be the one actual Black Superman in the DC comics and not be Kal-El. Xenomorph Skull Hunter tagging onto that. We already have a Black Superman. His name is Icon. Look it up, Hollywood. This was a great interview. Did you see this interview with Oprah, with Michael B. Jordan and Oprah? I'll paraphrase. I don't know where to find it quickly, but she asked him, "Would you want to play?" Hold for smell dick syndrome. He
you just roboted out and came back. You just roboted out and came back with like a horn or something.
Perfect.
So it was like
perfect. Perfect timing. Sorry, I'm like, what's happening over on my phone? Yeah, perfect timing. Well, I'm back now. What was that? Oh yeah, so this interview, so Michael B. Jordan is being interviewed by Oprah. She asks him straight up, "Do you want to play Black Superman?" And he tells her, it's like the most perfectly politic answer ever, because he starts out by saying no, he wouldn't want to. He says, because so many great people have played this role, I wouldn't want to be in the shadow of the people who've come before me. Great answer, great place to start from. And then he said, and if I were going to be a Black superhero, I'd want to be my own character, like an entirely different character, or, and he brought up, did you know there is a Black Superman from another Earth version of Earth? I didn't know that. Apparently he did. He's like, yeah, his name's I guess I assume that's Icon and all that. And he's like, yeah, and I would love to play a version of that. And then he says, I thought it was the greatest way to wrap it up. He says, I think that would be the way to play Superman while not with, do it respectfully without ruffling the feathers of the comic book purists. And he didn't make any comments, oh, the white people are this. He says the comic book purists, because he took a moment to honor and acknowledge that there is, it's not a problem if you want it to look like it does in the comic books. And so this way we could have Black Superman and no one's mad that he doesn't look like he does in the comic books. Hooray.
And then you get more movies. You can have like Henry Cavill Superman and Black Superman, and all of these characters, and they're so up their own ass with this stuff, with this diversity virtue signaling bullshit, that they're losing all these opportunities where they could actually, acknowledge and honor some of these characters in the first.
Exactly. No, exactly. It's
frustrating.
It's like you'd be making more money, you'd be doing a better job, everyone would be happy. That's what drives me crazy. It's like we were not going astray as a culture. Like this whole massive course, it's not like we were slowly going astray as a people. We were slowly, since fucking civil rights, getting better. Fucking the 90s was this beautiful decade where every movie had fucking homoerotic undertones between all the male characters. Every goddamn movie in the 90s had homoerotic undertones. Every comedy at least, but like most other movies do.
Well, these people decided, oh no, we have to have it confirmed or else it's not representation. I'm like, I'm never going to see myself 100% on screen. You aren't either. Why do you want to be exactly a carbon copy stereotype of this person on screen? Why can't you be a little of this or a little of that?
Well, the whole thing is that was happening too. It was just steps. Okay, we have it hinted at. Now we have it in sort of larger than life comedic characters that we're representing as like, oh, you're queer characters, okay, or we're having more and more Black characters integrated with a predominantly white crew, and then and now you have more Black led pictures happening than ever before. Now you have more acceptance of queer characters. Laverne Cox, I think, is a great example, who plays a trans woman in Orange is the New Black. Bam, and it's a very well accepted character, and then she was just in Promising Young Woman, just playing a woman, and it's like that. No one's talking about that. No one's following those threads. where it's just, yeah, that's just progressivism happening. Wow, what an opportunity to cast a trans actor because there's a trans character written into the show, or they might have been written around her character at some point, but it's like this trans character fits perfectly into the themes of the show. So we'll write her in and we'll treat her, you know, like a regular fucking person. And then we'll not assume that Laverne Cox is only going to want to play trans characters for the rest of her fucking life. And that's it. It's happening. The things you want are happening. But the problem is, this is what's clear is that everyone wants their civil rights struggle. Everyone wants, it's the internet makes it so easy to see, wow, look at that struggle. Look at these videos of these people saying these things.
Glamorizes it.
Fight, exactly. And they want it. So they have to invent an enemy. They have to invent problems rather than going, wow, we inherited this wonderful world that is so much better than the one that our parents grew up in. No, we want to bitch about how much shittier it is. You give all these problems, all this that. They gave you, and it's still racism. It's still this. It's still bullshit. You know how much less racism they gave you than they inherited?
Yeah.
Grow the fuck up for a second and realize that like they didn't make it perfect. They didn't make it perfect, but they made it a hell of a lot better than what came before. So maybe be grateful for a second. And instead of rejecting all of that and starting over and going back to the drawing board and erasing things that, I don't know, Martin Luther King fucking already did for you, keep going. Sure, there's a problem with overuse of police force on the streets, and that's not just with one race. That's just in general. Sure, we can address how to go back to the roots of training police officers, of creating more standard and uniform ways of training police officers.
Getting rid of them isn't going to solve shit. That's just going to create more crime. Duh.
Exactly. So it's like I'm not getting anywhere near an abolitionist conversation until somebody can propose what is going to take their place. Because if you don't have something to take that place, then it's going to be either private business or crime. And I'm not cool with either of those running my city. So look at that shit. Sure, is there a problem with overly incarcerating black people for dealing marijuana? Absolutely. That's retarded. That's one of the most blatantly racist and obvious money-making ploys in the police system. Sure. Talk about that. You know what we're not talking about? That anymore. Because we're busy creating problems that don't exist. We are not actually talking about police reform anymore because we're too busy chasing the riot in the next city. No one's actually talking about changes or making changes. Everyone's just looking for their moment, for their fucking civil rights moment to go viral so they can feel special and important, like they did something.
Ugh. Yeah.
Being in the limelight, marching with the sign, being visible isn't fucking doing anything. People don't have to know what you're doing for you to be doing it. And if you feel the need to shout in everyone's fucking face, you're probably not doing it right. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like reminding people that, why are you letting them speak for you? Why is it okay? Why is it okay? I can't speak for the racial stuff, but in the gay communities and stuff. I've got a video that I made Rob edit actually now because I was talking about it. George Takei decided to get upset with Caitlyn Jenner when she stated, hey, it's not fair for male athletes or trans athletes born male, biological males, to compete against women. Okay, why is George Takei more qualified to speak for it than Caitlyn Jenner as a transgendered fucking athlete? This is exactly the person who I would respect their opinion of because, A, they're the ones it affects. They are an athlete. They are transgendered. Right? They might actually have some knowledge about the science behind it, the physiology behind it, the biology, the chemistry, because this is a trained athlete, despite what you have to say about her for anything else. Exactly. In this one specific issue, right? And I don't even get into my thoughts on the issue on what I feel or not anyway. But why is George fucking Takei from Star Trek in there deciding that Caitlyn Jenner isn't allowed to speak it? Oh, because she's now running as a conservative? You guys are such istophobic, crazy people out there on these little activist shitting things that they're actively othering conservatives. They're actively othering people who don't agree with them. They're actively labeling even people who aren't conservative, right? They label them that just to other them just because, it's our team or not.
When Caitlyn Jenner came out, she was stunning and brave. She was everything. It was so important. It was so critically important to see how wonderful and great and blah, blah, blah Caitlyn Jenner was to, even as an adult with a family and all these considerations and media spotlight, to still come out and do what was right by her. Oh my God, so stunning and brave. Oh, but she voted for Trump, fucker.
Yeah.
I don't, irrespective of my opinions, like who you voted for does not influence how much weight I give your opinions.
Yeah.
Unless you and I sit down and have a long, in-depth discussion about why you voted for who you voted for, and then I decide that those were terrible reasons, and at that point I probably have a lot of information to not believe you ever again if I so feel that way. But if you just say, well, I voted for this person, I don't know why you did that. I don't know why you made that choice. I don't know what your life is that led you to that moment. For all I fucking know, you and everyone who's supporting the other side, if you're supporting that person, has nothing to do with any of the politics of it, and ever do, I don't know, the quality of support you've encountered. That seems to make a huge difference. In Toronto, never political, surrounded by the rabid social justice side. What did she decide? I don't think I want that. I think I want the other side. If that is what means, then I'm not doing the other thing. I don't know about politics, but she gravitated towards the wheat and towards that side. Why? Because she was in a different, and you have street analogies on the right. They put you in the same direction.
You're robotic a lot here. Sorry. Like really robotic. It's like we're getting like every other, and like I'm trying to follow. It's just robotic. Yeah, the internet can't handle it.
I should stop monologuing probably then. I don't know. I have a theory that the property manager is somehow figuring out how to throttle our internet.
Oh, maybe. Or she's trying to, or maybe she's just like running her cell phone near you or something.
Probably some bullshit like that. It wouldn't surprise me. Let's see if I can clear up some stuff here and make it run better. Let me also see if I change the network, it likes me better. Let's try.
It's so hard the internet can't handle it. Yeah, and then the second you stop, it's YouTube. It's YouTube censoring you. See, they just are afraid of strong women who have a difference of opinion.
The internet is apparently afraid of. The internet is afraid of letting me have opinions. Oh, good news though. It appears that YouTube has finally just decided I'm a streaming channel because I said fuck it and I don't bother making videos most of the time anymore. Because stream, I gain them. So that's like great. I do all my streaming over on Live. I don't care about YouTube anyway. And so there you go.
I have no idea what YouTube's done with mine. They're just I even DM Team YouTube. I'm like, is there a way to opt out? I mean, since I'm only getting like, I tested, I'm only getting like 300 new viewers on my channel trailer per month. And I'm like, you're only sending 300 people to my channel per month, like at all? That's weird.
Yeah.
And they don't answer, of course. So.
Oh, no, I just went back and forth with them about why they keep unsubscribing people from my channel, and they told me they don't. No, never unsubscribe people from channels for any reason whatsoever. That clearly my subs are just accidentally unsubscribing themselves or doing it on purpose and lying to me about it. Because that makes sense, right? It makes sense that like Anna is such a fucking retard that she just accidentally unsubscribes herself from my channel twice a month.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I put a survey up recently today, and people are like, yes, I've gotten unsubscribed from, it'll say like, oh, I got unsubscribed from Nerdrotic, or I got unsubscribed from The Quartering, or I got unsubscribed from you, or whoever. And yeah, they get unsubscribed quite a bit.
When I was going back and forth with someone, I was like, here's a thread. They're like, go to YouTube support. I'm like, I did. I found this thread where someone asked this question and nobody from YouTube weighed in, but there are hundreds of comments of other users saying they had the same problem being unsubscribed from their favorite YouTubers. And the person I was talking to, they said, oh, well, that comment was posted 2 years ago. And I said, look at the most recent comment. It's from days ago. People have been consistently bitching about this problem for 2 years, and you never answered the question. There's no answer to this question. There's no solution. You didn't fix this. You're trying to say, look, see, clearly it's been dealt. No, it hasn't been. People have been continuously bitching to you about this, and you've been continuously going, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Fuck you. You're lying. I'm so.
I was in a thread on Twitter, a public thread with Team YouTube, and I had a viewer respond, and they said, yes, I was unsubscribed from your channel in the Team YouTube thread. And they're like, that doesn't happen. And I'm like, you just called this viewer a liar in my thread. How
Exactly.
dare you call this viewer a liar?
Exactly. I'm like, you're calling people, you are calling my viewers liars. You are calling my viewers liars, and I do not fucking appreciate that.
Yeah.
Gunner probably he says never been unsubscribed, and I wonder if US users are more susceptible to it. So here's the thing: this is something that's happening manually. Like this is not as they say, we do not automatically subscribe people from your chat. They've told me that a million times to my face, and so I've replied with, "Oh, so you mean you manually unsubscribe people from me?" And they always have a cage answer because that's the truth. They are. It's manual. It's channels that they don't like, that they have flagged, or that they don't care about, whatever reason it is that we're not preferable, we're not desirable, we're not making enough money for them, or whatever it is. And they
I could make a lot more money for them if they stopped throttling me.
Right?
Like I should be up there in the hundreds and 150,000 area.
Yes.
And I could be making a whole lot more for you, YouTube, if you like unthrottled me. But
exactly, but you would be promoting too much wrong things, so we can't.
Yeah.
But Andy McCallum, that probably wasn't by accident. So yeah. What was the thing I was gonna say about the bullshits of it? So if you're foreign, they probably, because it has to probably be on the same country server of wherever the creator is. So if they're US creators, they probably can only unsubscribe. If it's people in the US doing the unsubscribing, they can probably only unsubscribe users on the US server.
Probably. I think that a lot of the times, like they'll update the server and they move people around on the back end from server to server. And like I have 4,000 videos on my channel that I probably got to dump some at some point. But I was a gaming channel for a while. I've got most of that privatized, and I don't know what I upload a lot too. I upload like 2 and 3 videos a day sometimes. Sometimes I'm streaming twice a day and 3 videos. So, I mean, I think that they're just bouncing people around, and every time they bounce you to a new server, your subs don't follow you. Like you'll be subbed on one server, but you won't be subbed somewhere else.
That makes sense.
And every time they update the software for the servers, every time they change the algorithm, every time they give you a new version of YouTube on the back end, they screw something up. And even on Andre Black Nerd Comedy, I don't know if you're familiar with his channel. He does like stuff with like Channel Awesome and stuff. He's pretty famous. He was even saying that they had moved him on the back end somewhere and nobody was able to even see his videos.
Whoa.
Like at all.
That something weird like that happened. There was this YouTube. I remember because when shit happened to my channel, I was looking for answers. Why am I blanking on who she was now? Who she is? Swoop, I think, or something like that. She's one of these like lifestyle YouTuber people or whatever, or she did like little short videos and stuff, and she had that, like, she basically her channel got like struck by algorithm lightning and just died immediately. And she had like a 500,000 subscriber channel, and she had chased YouTube people around for months and months and months until she finally got an answer. And it was someone who's like, I shouldn't even say this, I had to figure this out because it was crazy, but they dug into it and was like, this is a total algorithmic anomaly and there's nothing we can do. So she had to go start a new channel. That's fucking bullshit.
That's what I'm thinking. I might have to start a new channel or something, because like you got all these new channels where they're like, oh, they have the YouTube countdowns, and or like a trailer of like the trailer for their premiere video, or they'll have like tipped things. And how do you guys get that? Because I mean, I've been on here forever and I'm still on YouTube gaming servers where sure, I got channel members early, but I can't get anything else now.
Yeah. Members came late for me. And by the time members got, I actually, for a long time, I was like, oh, I guess I'll set up members. Now I'm like, no, I'm never setting up members. Sorry, guys. If you ever want to be a member of my channel, go join my Patreon, which is getting a huge revamp this week. My Patreon is going to become my personal social media. You want Jesse's social media? The lowest tier will be like Twitter. Then you'll get pictures. Then you'll get videos. Then you'll get songs and stuff. So, like, that'll be my place to go there, because I ain't giving. Why would I want to encourage you to give more money to YouTube? I don't like YouTube. I don't think you should give them your money unless it's via super chats to me or Mecha Random or your other favorite YouTubers or Jeff.
So I have Streamlabs set up, but I'm like, I feel weird if I tell people to use Streamlabs, because it feels like I'm ungrateful. Because it's like, oh no, your super chat isn't good enough. Go to Streamlabs where YouTube doesn't take so much. I don't want to come off like that.
That's why I just went to Live It, where it's better, where when you buy things from them, your currency is turned into baby coin, and whatever number of baby coin is in the gift you give me is the number that I get. The number you decide, whatever you decide to give me is what I get. End of story. It's nice. It's a friendly, happy place. Time to post the link for Live It. Tell everyone to go subscribe over there.
See, I like Twitch a little bit now because like I haven't been using it enough. I need to use it more. But I like Twitch enough because it has kind of similar stuff. You get the bits and you get the
I've heard a lot of good things. A lot of happy campers on Twitch land. And by the way, Mecca's Twitch is in the description below. So make sure. Wow, I just watched myself glitch like crazy. Like watching my face lag behind my voice in real time. It's bizarre.
I play the worst games on Twitch. So I'm playing like the coin game. No, I played Mario Kart with Mary and her crew the last time I streamed. So
she keeps inviting me, and I keep never being available when she invites me. Hey, look who's in the chat. Robert.
Now, is Justin going to be in Vegas at the meetup again this year?
Is he? Is he? Because
I gotta show you. Did I show you the orgy tub that I want?
I've heard about this orgy tub. You haven't shown me yet. I know. I'm excited. And do what Andy said. Enjoy my Live It, because Andy McCallum is over there as that limey, and we have such fun. Such a good time, except for last night. Last night was weird, but I got like held hostage by a homeless man while I was streaming in my car. It was strange. Hard to get into your quarter. Thank you for the super chat while Mecca pulls up the orgy tub. When Hollywood talks about people of color, they never seem to mention Asians, except there's like no Asian leads. Mortal Kombat had more than most of Hollywood. Yeah, everyone made a huge deal about Crazy Rich Asians, and then it's like we get our token Asian movie every year now. We had Parasite last year, and then we got Minari this year, and Minari was great. I didn't see Parasite, but Minari was great. But then it's like, okay, great. So then you can have one Asian-centric movie every year, and it's like no one's talking about the rest of it. All right.
So this is like the nicest one, I think. So this is a Planet Hollywood. So you got this. Now these jerks are not included.
Good.
These guys are not included. You get a nice like party area as you come in.
That's baller.
But the real cool part of it is, well, the view you get. So you've got a nice king bed.
Mm-hmm.
King bed with a view of the strip. Now you're looking towards, and you got like a little kitchen area. So you're looking towards the Bellagio and the Eiffel Tower and all that stuff. So you've got a view of the Bellagio fountains and now here's your tub. Yeah, so let me get a better view of the tub. So it'll set like 3 or 4 close friends.
Oh yeah.
And in the window of the bathroom, you have a view of the Las Vegas Strip.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
With the Bellagio fountains.
That is cool as shit.
So that's like the dream one. I don't think I can swing it. I don't think I can. I don't think I'm going to be able to get an orgy tub. Because I'm poor. And I didn't buy enough Doge. But that's a cool tub.
We'll just all put pressure on Rob to go so that he splits it with you.
So he can hook me up. I don't think he has money to, but yeah. So you're basically, you got the his and her sinks, and then a giant window with the view of the fountains. And if you can't see, like, you just pretend that the dude's got the lights off in the background. There you go. And the naked lady silhouettes in the back. So yeah, here's the tub there in the corner, and then you just have the windows out.
That's pretty fucking baller.
That's so cool.
That is a really cool suite.
So I want that one, but that's like $2,600 for the flight and hotel for one person.
That's not that bad, you know.
Not for the whole 4 days.
Not for that.
Not for the whole 4 days. Because I mean, I'm not going to spend $600 on the convention like I did last time. I'll just get like 1 day pass, and seriously, I don't need to get anybody's autograph. Screw those people.
So I just translate that money into nicer accommodations.
Yeah, and then I make Rob pay for the whole rest of it. Thing is, I don't think I have that much in PayPal. So, oh well. I did. I'm going to be doing more begging streams. I mean, T-shirt selling streams, where I'm trying to hawk my Drop the Taco T-shirts and my Crop Circle T-shirts to try and help fund it. So
There you go. So everyone, make sure you're stay tuned. Make sure you're always going over to Mecha Random's channel. Make sure that you're sending your super chats or sending Streamlab chats, Streamlab support, and buying those shirts so that Mecha can go to Vegas. It's important. Hashtag get Mecha to Vegas.
Yay. Next door to the Alara. Well, so Planet Hollywood. I don't want to be too far from Center Strip. So on the right, you've got Paris, and then across the street is like the Aria.
Yeah,
that's really expensive.
It's cool. When you get Center Strip, you got like a couple of those places like Planet Hollywood and the Link and stuff. Really nice, but super affordable. And then you got like the schwank towns.
Yeah. Oh god, they had they didn't have any rooms available. They have suites at the Cosmopolitan with balconies with the fountain view where you can actually you can go out on the balcony and watch the fountains from there. So
I would like to stay there one time.
That would be what I would want. But then I couldn't even find any of those suites. So.
Oh my god. Cesario Japan, or as we sometimes like to call him, Caesar Jorpan, says Alara is right next to Planet Hollywood.
Okay.
So there you go. Worth the peak. Let me get a few more of these supers because we've got a ton backlogged in here. Roger H says, Roger H, thank you for the super sticker. It sends us a red thumbs up. Xenomorph Skull 179 says, as a black man, whenever Coates speaks, I feel great shame. I'm sorry. Reality Check numero uno says, breaking news, now they're trying to race swap Red Sonja too. And Anna retweeted a report regarding this on Twitter.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Oh, let's go see if we can find this real quick.
That's so somebody sent me that earlier. Like, why
are we doing this? The whole thing is make a new story. Just make a new story. Why? Why is it that
Hannah John Carmen to star in Millennium Sword and Sorcery feature? According to the Hollywood Reporter. Here's this one. Let me just link it. Okay, I can screen share.
Yeah, if you found something, that would be. Oh, I see how you sent it. I can hear. I can pull up. I see it.
Not an article, but.
All right, let me just share you then, since you've
already
found it. There we go. Why am I a broken human? There we go. Okay, I'll let you take one.
So she's our new Red Sonja.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
How many people are gonna just call them all racist in the comments?
What's this chick's name?
Oh, they're calling her a plank of wood. Hannah John Kamen.
Who is she?
I don't know. I'll look you up.
Hannah John.
Actress known for Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was in that. She's British.
Okay. She's British. Yeah, I'm not sure I see where the race swap is. Is she? I mean, like, she doesn't look like pure white, but like.
I guess she's biracial, maybe.
Oh, she's a Nigerian father. I guess she's mixed race.
Okay.
See, this is that weird, like, even bullshitty one too, where they're like, oh, we're gonna have the mixed race person do it. So it's like, we didn't really race swap. We didn't actually take it and run with the black character, but we also wanted to get points for being ethnic. Where it's like,
yeah,
why don't you just write a female character that doesn't already have a pre-existing like canon of images to go along with them, and then they can look however you want them to look. You can even write them to not have race not be a specific part, have their visual features not be, a really critical part of how they're written, so you can go with whoever the actress is best for the part, and then that'll be what they are. And if another differently raced actress is the better part the next time you do an iteration of this superhero, because of course you will redo it, then who cares? Because it doesn't fucking matter. Because the whole thing is like, it's like we've gone so far to the other end that the very thing that wasn't racist is now the most racist thing, and vice versa. So it's like the whole point used to be that it didn't matter if the characters were black or white or Asian or Hispanic or whatever, that they should just be able to be anybody, right? Because they're just people. So they should just be, you should be able to cast more openly. You should, and that's the push in Hollywood with a lot of minor characters, ethnically ambiguous. You see it everywhere now. We want ethnically ambiguous characters. Oh, she's the chick from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Okay, yeah, she's. I wouldn't have given her own movie. I don't think she's bad.
In the comments, so in the comments on the tweet, they're saying she's a plank of wood.
I didn't think she was awful. I didn't have anything negative to say about her, but I didn't think she could carry. I wouldn't. She doesn't market a movie for me. I wouldn't go see a movie just because she's in it. You know.
She's a background actress, right? She looks like she's a good background person.
She's a good supporting character. You know. But yeah, I was just like, there's nothing that says you have to write. You have to make movies off of characters with an existing canon. And if you're making characters with an existing canon, why not be faithful to the canon? I don't understand, because that's the whole thing, right? We're living in a world now where race, it does mean something, where it does mean everything. It's not interchangeable. We can't just cast anyone in these roles because it means something if you're a black woman. It means something if you're a Hispanic woman. It means something if you're, this type of woman or that type of woman or whatever type of woman. So great. Well, then it means something if Red Sonja as a character was written as a white woman, because that means something too. The character's background and the character's journey means something. And so shouldn't therefore the characters, if it's so important to get this shit right, shouldn't the character's background reflect the person's background? That's what you say. That's what you always say 1,000% of the time when we're talking about casting a character that was written as a character of color. It's got to be one-to-one. It's got to be perfect. Any type of minority character, any type of other character. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. It's got to be that. Okay. So it's not racist to say that when you have a character that was written as a white character, when you adapt it into the screen, you should probably have them be played by a white character. That's not racist. That's just the way we do things, right? We want to cast it visually to look like what it looked like in the source material. That's how we do things. So it's how we do things. The only way that it becomes racist is either way if you become exclusive about it. Oh, we're always faithful if the character is a character of color, but never if they're white. Well, then you're just lending credence to all the people who want to run around screaming about white erasure. Because what are you saying? We need to race swap every single white character to make them a character of color, and we need to make sure every single other character is written as a character of color. So what you're saying is there's no room for white people in the media, in movies. Okay, well then you're saying you want to erase white people. So I'm not saying that. You are saying that. So don't be fucking surprised when a bunch of, pitchfork wielding farmers get up in arms about how you're erasing their culture or you're trying to erase white people, because it really fucking sounds like that's what you're trying to do.
Well, especially gingers. This is another ginger they're getting rid of.
That's why I highlighted this comment. This has been fucking rampant. It's like, why? Every single time we race swap a character from a white character to a black character, it is a fucking ginger.
It's because I think it's just lazy. It's a lazy trope. It's what stupid people think. It was like when I was a little kid, and you hear and don't really understand the complexities of it because you're a little kid, and you hear, oh well, white people suck, so the government sucks, and all these old people are all a bunch of old white dudes, and yada yada. Oh, okay, so it should be a black woman then. It's a dumb, stupid thing that you say as an opposite. Just to, because you don't understand the complexities. That's what it reminds me of. So you got like 7-year-olds in Hollywood saying, how do we fix the race problem? Oh, let's just make it a black woman.
Exactly. I think it's a little bit more technical than that, right? The two most difficult complexions to do makeup and lighting for are gingers and dark-skinned women. Right? The two most difficult people to do that kind of stuff. And well, obviously the way the culture is going, everything has to be black. So I think it was just all of the, the makeup artists and lighting crews and stuff who were like, we're not gonna, all right, if everything is going to be, and this is whatchamacallit, if everything's going to have to be this type of lighting, making sure we get this lighting to light it correctly, making sure we're doing makeup to do all this, we're not bothering with the gingers. We can't offend the people of color because that makes us racist and we'll get canceled. So we have to make sure we do everything right by them. So we'll just cancel the gingers because we don't fucking want to deal with their pale asses anymore. And in no way in hell are we going trying to deal with the white balance of having the ginger on screen with somebody who's much darker skinned. Because let me tell you, I once tried to take a picture of my friend Kelly, who was a ginger. Former Kelly's ginger, standing next to my friend Isaac, who was very, very dark of complexion. And I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take one picture where Kelly, you're lit correctly, and Isaac disappears into the shadows. And I'll take another one where Isaac is lit correctly, and Kelly disappears into the wall, and you can Photoshop it together later.
Well, I'm so pale. I mean, like my natural is kind of more of an auburn, but I'm like super pale anyway, and I stay out of the sun anyway because I do YouTube. I always stayed out of the sun, but I can't imagine like trying to. Well, I mean, I guess they should cast more gingers because all these movies are lit like shit lately anyway. They're all so dark.
Yeah,
like just do nothing but gingers. Just replace everybody with gingers and pale people.
Exactly. You point the light at the ginger, it bounces off of them, and they light up the rest of the set. So.
Right?
Yeah.
So you actually be able to see something. Unlike all these movies nowadays. I'm getting old. I'm a curmudgeon. I'm like, I can't see anything in this movie. It's putting me to sleep. I want to do anything else.
But it's true. It's how they're all cut. It's like, dude, I can't even fucking follow what's happening. That's something when we had Richard on, we were talking about the Oscar movies. He was praising how a lot of movies he's seeing are going back towards the longer takes, like a lot of the more, and it'll trickle back into it always starts with, whatever's driving the, the artistic trends and whatnot, but the artistic trends in photography, in cinematography right now are longer shots again, and in editing, longer cuts. So hopefully that'll trickle into more of our mainstream blockbusters, and we'll have action sequences that make sense. I would love that. I'd love to know what was fucking happening.
See what's going on. Yeah.
Exactly. Zach C, thank you for the super chats. It's off topic. Well, that's okay because it would have been off topic no matter when you send it. Got the Heroenberg sticker and Stealing Solo comic today, Jesse and Jeff. Thank you so much. It made my day.
Is that Zach Z?
Zach Z got his comic. So when we did our Heroenberg stream, we gave away some Heroenberg stickers with Jason Wright's artwork on it. And then we gave one lucky sticker winner a free copy of Stealing Solo, the first edition. So Zach Z was that one lucky winner, and he just got it. So hooray, and thank you for the super chat. Gates, that Star Trek girl. Thank you, Russell, for the super chat. Says you can grow a lot of pot on 40 acres. That's true. That is something you could do with those 40 acres of land. I would support that. Xenomorph Skull Hunter 79 says, Jesse, at least you didn't wind up with a permanent Joker grin when you are that. I don't remember entirely the context of that part of the conversation, but I'm glad I don't have a permanent Joker grin either way because, when I froze, because that would have been terrible. Maybe that was when I was freezing. I glitched with duck. I froze apparently some weird duck face. That would have been scary for all of you if I just froze like this and you had to stare at my face like that for minutes and minutes and minutes at a time. You can't look away. You actually could. John Thomas says, in the Wheel of Time books, one culture, the man gave his wife a knife on the wedding day to stab him if he displeased her. I think I vaguely remember that from the books of those that I had read. I like that. That's hilarious. I feel like it should be a two-way gift, though. It's like, all right, we promise to, love and cherish and uphold, and if you suck in bed, I'm just sticking this in your back. That's reasonable, right?
I suppose. I don't know.
Damian Donald says, I think wrestler Rhea Ripley would have played a much better Captain Marvel than Brie Larson. I support wrestlers and fighters going into acting if they have the acting chops. Now, wrestling's a weird one because they're trained to do something that's more like reality television than it is acting. But Rhea Ripley, she's still kind of fresh from NXT, and she's very natural. She's from Australia. She's very natural on the mic too. So I don't know if she has any kind of acting chops, but she is someone I would love to see her if she does and she had any interest. She's like another Gina Carano type, where if she went and did an action movie, you'd fucking believe her because she's tall, she's buff, she cleans up nice. and all that. But yeah, she the pepper tail you told earlier was for the Joker face super chat. If my face had gotten stuck. You want to know how I got these scars? I ate a Carolina Reaper pepper and it burned my mouth open. So that now we know. The mystery has been solved. Russell Hall says, actually, men have a higher pain tolerance. I've always heard to the contrary, Russell, so you'll have to cite your sources. Annie McCallum, thank you for the super chat, says, never vape hot pepper. Never vape hot pepper. A guy did, and he almost died.
Why would you want to?
Sounds awful.
No.
That just sounds so painful. I don't want that. I'm just my face hurts thinking about it. The inside of my face hurts thinking about it. Miss Rena 1000 says, hi Jesse, I've been following you and Anna for a while. I find you guys entertaining. I'm part of Comicsgate and working on my own comic project. Badass, Miss Rena 1000. Definitely keep us posted on it. Let us know what the name of your comic is, your project is, and so we can look out for it. And then also, I'm sure you know Jeff from World Class Bullshit is my wonderful boyfriend. Just because Stealing Solo, super awesome. It's still in demand for those.
I'm a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a magnet.
Because on the cover, she's a trading card and a magnet. I'm on the cover, trading card and a magnet.
Now you can see the magnets on the fridge once I get my cards. I think Rob was supposed to buy something for me. I don't know. So I bought an extra set of cards just for me, just so I get magnets and stuff.
Yes. Well, thank you for supporting. I'm stoked for having all the magnets too. I think since Jeff and I probably have so many thousands of them, we should just take the excess magnets, if there are any, and just cover the or before we package them and send them out, we just take a picture of our refrigerator just covered in magnets.
I'll just get you some. We'll do that.
We should just.
I mean, if you want to live looking at Jeremy every fucking day,
we won't put him on. We'll just exclude him, or we'll put him on the side where you can't see him. We'll put him down where Shapanky can get to him and destroy him.
It's fair. I'm just thinking of the hierarchy.
How we're gonna order him on the fridge.
Now, who is Tom going to be sucking up to on the magnet fridge? Because he is Salacious Crumb.
Well, then he's got it. He's Cecil the Hut.
He sucks up to Gary too, though.
You could have a little creature corner because you could have Cecil the Hut, you could have Ewok Gary, and then you have Salacious Tom, and he can suck on whatever parts of them that's. I like to imagine that Salacious Crumb's version of sucking up is actually sucking on parts of their body. That's probably what he does. So.
Probably.
Imagine an Ewok walking around with a little fucking lizard monkey thing. I forget the race. I know the creature is it's a something lizard monkey. I forget what it.
I just call it a lizard monkey.
Okay. Well, I'm imagining an adorable little fierce, scary Ewok walking around with a little lizard monkey, Salacious Tom on his shoulder. So that should be a piece of art. Tom.
Say what?
Gary Ewok with Salacious Tom on his shoulder. That would be a funny piece of art. But yeah, the full set of magnets. We hit the 1,200 backers yesterday. Keith Mullinack, yes. So anybody who backed it through yesterday will get the full set of magnets. Very excited about that.
I have an orgy tub update. I have multitasking and I'm shopping on the side. I can get a Cosmo. Now this is actually the best room ever. It's not quite an orgy tub, but it's cheaper, I think.
Mm-hmm.
To do the room and my flight separate. My flight's only going to be $300.
Oh yeah,
from Colorado, from Denver. The room I can get for $1,400 is a terrace studio fountain view. You know, one of these at the Cosmopolitan where you have the open patio onto the fountains, looking down onto the fountains. You can open up a patio and just hear the fountains all night.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I can get that for $1,400.
Yeah.
Instead of the $2,600 for the orgy tub, I'm thinking the fountain view with the terrace.
Fountain view with the terrace sounds pretty baller. And if it's not going to break the bank to do it, I mean, realistically, how many people from the Phantom Menace do you want to get in an orgy tub with?
I know. Well, see, I did leave a comment on a certain somebody's video saying, "Hey, go out to Star Trek Las Vegas as an escape," but he's not Phantom Menace. He's not Phantom Menace quite. He's Phantom Menace adjacent.
There you go.
He's anti-cancel culture. Oh well. Do you guys want to see the studio? I should show you.
I definitely do.
All right. They're all nice. 1 bedroom fountain view terrace studio. I don't know which is best.
Well, thank you for backing Shadow War Child. When it got to that close to 1200, it kind of zipped over right past it. It was like, oh, now it's 1201. I think we refreshed it when it was it. Oh no, when it was
Like I'm gonna pour Jello in the fountain. I'm not. Oh, it does have an orgy tub.
Ooh, perfect.
Oh, it does. 1,500.
Perfect.
1,500 for this room. There's your view from the bedroom. You get a little apartment there. Oh, and the patio, where you can go out and sit there and look at the fountains.
That's nice.
At like in 117-degree weather in Vegas in August.
Dude, I love late night hot Vegas when you don't have to walk too far.
Right. I don't have to go walk down to the fountains just to watch them. I can just sit there and stream it from my freaking balcony.
Exactly.
At the Cosmo. They have an egg slut there too, and I want to eat there.
Yes, I've never eaten one. Dude, every time I have gone to
where's the tub?
Fucking there's an egg slut in Grand Central Market in downtown LA, and every time I've gone there, it's fucking closed. And every time I've walked past the one in the Cosmo, it's either been closed or I've been like on my way to eat somewhere else, or I've already eaten something. I'm like, ugh.
1,500 take a cruise for that. Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not. Let's see. What am I saying? The 1 bedroom fountain view. 1 bedroom fountain view. Fountain view room tour. Well, let's look. Let's look. This guy. He does. Who is this? The Vegas Paradise. He does every single room. This dude.
That's cool.
He's like so chill and awesome, but he looks in every single drawer.
That's fun.
Which is really funny. Oh, I like that little sitting area. You got a nice little sitting area.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
That is nice.
It's a nice suite. There's your king bed. Ooh la la, naked back on the wall. Ooh, that's nice.
I love me some nudity.
I don't like that they have mini bars instead of fridges though. That's the only problem. Is I'd rather have a fridge instead of a mini bar.
Yeah, concur.
But I can always like go and freaking buy a cooler or something if I have to. All right, they do have an orgy tub over there. What's this? There's your light. So you can pluck all your hairs out of your face.
Oh, good.
That's what they're good for. Ooh, nice shower. Look at the shower.
Nice
Giant walk-in shower.
Oh, so wait, you walk into the shower to the fucking tub.
Isn't this nice?
That's baller shit.
Oh, and the tub's got a nice view of the back end of Vegas. It looks like Caesars out there. So this is on the north end of the building. Of course, it's on the north end of the building. That's a cool tub too. That is an orgy tub.
There you go.
When is the Vegas meetup happening? During the Star Trek Las Vegas convention. I might just book this room myself tonight.
Yeah, Daniel Allen Vegas meetup. The Daniel Allen Vegas meetup is over Star Trek. So that's what, the 11th to the 15th or something?
Yeah, the 11th through it's like it starts Wednesday. I think I'm gonna get there Thursday instead of Wednesday. But if you're there for the convention, it's the 11th through that Sunday. So like that Wednesday through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably be there Thursday to Monday. All right. So you got all the controls. You got all your bathroom. Oh, that's your window covering on the remote. All right. Oh, look at that. You got the tub that you can sit there and watch the fountains from the tub. Oh, I didn't think to go. I was looking on Vegas.com. I didn't even think to look on Cosmo's site. Because this is like the room I wanted in the first place. You got a view of the Eiffel Tower right across the street.
Oh, there you go.
And you go out from the bed onto this balcony. And you can go sit outside.
There you go.
Look at that. Oh, the fountains are going.
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to stop it every couple of seconds so you don't get claimed from his video. But so you got, the Paris. Oh. He probably put music on top of it.
Yeah, probably.
And then there's the Rio where the Star Trek convention is. I don't recommend walking it. Get an Uber. That's a very far walk.
Vegas distances are so deceptive because you're like, oh, it's just right over there. But then you don't realize is the buildings they're made to look like regular sized buildings, but they are gigantic.
Yeah, and you're gonna have a maze to get through anywhere you're at.
Yeah, it's like miles more than it looks.
This is gorgeous. Yeah, and the Cosmo, if you haven't seen it, it looks like it's Blade Runner all futury. They've got like a giant eye looking at you and like a chick's face on like these LED screens on top of the building.
I
It looks
love
like it's out
the
of the future. It's so cool.
I love the inside, all the crystal curtains and the boxes where the women are dancing at night and stuff.
And then so you can actually hear all the music from the fountains the whole time. Oh, that's where I want to go. It's not the distance, it's the heat. Yeah, it's also going to be like 115. I lived there for about 12 years. I miss it. It's kind of like I want to go back. I want to go back. So I think this is the room. Now, do I want the 1-bedroom king? Terrace 1-bedroom fountain view. I like that tub. Oh, I like that tub. That is so cool. I didn't even realize that the tub was like, you look at the top down on the window here.
I like it.
You can see, look at that. You can see the strip from the tub. Oh, that's so cool.
So much fun. Oh, Sweepy's here. It says, I love you, Jesse Miles. I love you, Sweepy. The heat
that's
makes
not bad.
It does it that too. Ooh, that looks cool as shit. Let's hit a couple more super chats. I'm running right here. We got a big one from Diego Flores. Thank you so much. But something we did talk about in Midnight's Edge in Espanol was that Superman is an alien. Really, anyone could play him. Just maintain the Kents as the moral teachers for Clark, and it would be indistinct. That's actually true because he's an alien. You could technically, but the thing is if you want to go. But again, here's the thing. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, you change the story when you change. And the thing is, we're living in this era. Everyone wants to talk about you got to be on. You got to honor their story, honor their life. It can't be parody. It can't be. You have to know their stories, back this. We are fully upfront and aware and acknowledging that to be raised as a black person is different than being raised as a white person. We're all pretty savvy about that fact. So when you change the race of a character, you fundamentally change their origins because it is something different. Because remember, Superman is not just an alien who was raised on an alien planet as an alien. He's an alien who's raised on Earth. So Superman is going to turn out very differently if he is raised as a white man in a urban or a rural white family than if he's raised as a black man in a rural black family, or as either race in an urban family, or as a black man raised by white people in a rural family. I mean, if Cal, little black baby, shows up and the Kents still raise him the same way, exactly the same, and don't do anything different, his story is still fundamentally different because he's being raised as a little black baby by white parents in Kansas. And to not acknowledge that changes the story is really to be racist.
Yeah.
Is to say, we could just interchangeably stick a black person in the circumstance and just pretend that everything would have been the same. That's
exactly
racist. And that's honestly part of why the race swap inherently is racist, is because you cannot do that. You cannot drop a black person into a white role and say, obviously everything else about the character is fundamentally the same. It is blatantly racist to ignore the fact that a black person in the same situation is going to have a different story than a white person in that situation.
Or even a woman versus a man. A woman's going to have things differently. Or
exactly. Exactly. Any race that you swap, the one exception I'll always say is when it comes to your sexuality, you can't see sexuality. When it's stuff you can't see, when it's race or gender, that's different. When it's sexuality, when it's religion, when it's those things, that falls under the umbrella of acting.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You can, unless they're going to do some fucked up makeup, a black person doesn't walk on set and pass as white. But
then you have some mixed race people who do look very, who you don't even notice would be until it's pointed out too, though. So you do have that, and that's something totally different. Like someone like Rashida Jones has played black, who's played white, and it's and everything in between pretty much. And the thing is, it is great to have people who are ambiguous like that, who can slide into a role. And that's my whole thing. If you can, you can. There are some people who are so flamboyantly gay that they only play gay characters because there's no universe in which they get on a set and it doesn't show through. It's just who they are. We all know those types of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a judgment or a criticism. It's how they are. They're never going to, quote, pass for straight because it's not who they are. It's not how they're wired. It's not how they sound, present themselves, and whatever. And they don't have to be. They're just going to go play gay characters. But if you can and want to, like Luke Evans is another example, a gay guy who plays straight all the time.
because he wants to, because he wants to take the roles that are the interesting roles for him, not the roles that reflect his sexuality.
Yeah. But they're always trying to pander to this Twitterati because they're too afraid of getting yelled at, I think. Because we never had this back in the day where you'd have such huge vocal backlash from everybody to the specific people like the studio heads or the directors. Now you've got somebody like Ryan Crapping Johnson on Twitter who, if you're yelling at him and saying, hey, your movie stinks, he's going to take it personally and he's going to lash out and respond. And it's just such a different thing. So I think a lot of these studios are too afraid of the backlash, but they're going to get it anyway, and they invite it by pandering, I think.
Exactly. And I think it's a great point that fuck, now I just forgot my point. Like, no, you were great. I was just looking at one thing and then like, oh, that was a great point I wanted to make, and then I was like, please continue because of that.
Well,
but now I ruined your train of thought. So.
No, we get to the point where you like I was saying, you can get like instant access to the studios, the celebrities, the directors, the actors, even you still have a lot of dumbass people out there who are going to yell at an actor for a shitty role. Sadly, that's really, really true. And but then again, it's like sometimes you can't always go to the director, and sometimes your only feedback is to accidentally, and sometimes it's not like accidental too, because I've been tagged in to these Star Trek Discovery things where they're going to tag in the actors, just to tattle on you,
which is such bullshit. And that's reminded me of my point, though. It's the studios, the filmmakers. Ryan Johnson, when they went, it started when they blamed the failure of Ghostbusters on people being sexist, and when Ryan Johnson comes out and blames the fans, all this culture of blaming the fans, it creates an antagonistic culture. Fans have always voiced their disappointment, their hatred, their fury, their rage, their wrath, justifiably or not, since the dawn of time. Twitter wasn't around when Jake Lloyd and Ahmed Best were getting harassed after Phantom Menace. The difference is not the fans. Oh, it's not that we've gotten so much worse or entitled or this or that. The difference is that the people with the power to tell these stories are listening to, responding to, and engaging with the wrong people. They are giving the haters the power by
so easy. It is so easy though.
Exactly. It's so fucking stupid. You give them the power by saying, you ruined our movie because it wasn't for you. You've now taken the power away from every other moviegoer who didn't give a shit about, whether or not they were women leads or not, and handed it solely to all of the people who didn't go to see the movie because they hate women. And then every time you pander to the hate mob, every time you virtue signal, you take the power away from regular moviegoers who want good stories, and you hand it solely to the same people who are going to go cancel your ass the second you make a wrong step. Right. You don't even have any sympathy for you just because you gave them what they wanted yesterday. Not if you don't give them the exact same thing tomorrow. And guess what? Even if it's the exact same thing, their goalpost has changed. So figure out what they want tomorrow, or you're going to get canceled for exactly what you did yesterday.
Well, look at that. They're getting canceled for the Asian remarks that they used to make that they were perfectly okay making, even though we all were saying, like, that's kind of, that's a little ished, but, then what am I going to do? I'm not going to virtue signal and cancel you for it. But now they're canceling themselves for that. Or I always like to use this. Well, in a few years, you guys are going to cancel each other over gender appropriation. So, maybe you might want to shut your mouth about, whatever somebody says about biology versus, psychology issues, I guess.
The minute that I started to see every day someone getting canceled, and every day that goalpost, literally every day, literally every week. It's not even a joke anymore. It's actually every day you can look up in the news they're trying to cancel somebody. And when it became that's when I stopped making my produced anti-SJW content. That's when I stopped going to, taking to the bullpit every single time something came up that, made me want to scream and yell and shake my fist, because I realized we have actually won. The worst thing we can do now as people who want this culture to go away is to continue to give it power. Now we're in that beautiful space where it's like, still call it out when it's bullshit. Don't acknowledge it or let it be okay. I'm not saying ignore it or don't call it out when it happens, but the obsessing over, we don't need to anymore. It's the people are coming back around to understanding that this shit is bullshit and wanting good movies again, wanting good stories. I know a lot of our audience doesn't really pay attention to the Oscar movies. But interesting thing that I noticed, that wokeness that started, right? As I said, it starts in the artsy shit and it trickles into our stuff. That happened. It started in the artsy movies. Let's make everything progressive and about these new themes and weird ideas. And then everything had to be
pudding.
and then it had to get injected into every movie. But now if you go up to the artsy movies, the Oscar winners and all that stuff, outside of Judas and the Black Messiah, the wokeness is gone. The wokeness has been sucked back out. The emphasis is on storytelling again. The emphasis is on good characters again. So that tells me that course correction is happening. There is desire and there is power for that. And the best thing we can do to bring it about is to look for the things that aren't the SJW shit. Praise, laud, bring attention to things that aren't, and create content, create fun, humor, videos, whatever it is, stories. That is the antithesis of what that thing is.
Yeah, and they don't like that though. They just get mad, and then they come in and try and appropriate it. Like, you don't want to be here. What do you care? I was like outwoking them too. Like some crazy woman was saying, "Oh, eating meat is racist," and that's a video tonight. So look out for that one. I basically had to outwoke this crazy woman. So spoiler. Because I'm like, you know what? I can prove why eating meat or not eating the meat is more racist by leaving it there, if I do enough mental gymnastics. You guys are just being crazy and offended for nothing.
Exactly. I heard that video. That was the most bananas take. Oh my God.
I thought it was a troll job. I'm like, this can't be real.
How? It's like you people will look for any reason to be outraged. Like if that's not telling you that people are looking for this shit, I don't know what.
It makes her feel better. It makes her feel better.
On the Hodgkins History Corner, or this was on our point about the race swapping the superheroes. Hodgkins History Corner says a pair of African gentlemen said it best. Why do you want their leftovers? And I agree, it's terrible for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Thank you for that super chat, Mr. Hodgkins History Corner.
I say sloppy seconds.
Exactly. Why do you want someone also sloppy seconds? Why not have something nice for yourself? You can. There's no reason not to. It's out there. Those stories exist and they can be written too. It's a beautiful thing. People are doing it all the time. Whoever wants to talk and look and scream about these movies, what the fuck does Denzel Washington do? All he does is go out and make movies, and he is a black man who makes movies, and he is in them because he's black, and so every time he's in a movie, he's a black lead in the movie because he's Denzel fucking Washington. The end. Why aren't you talking about that and how great of it? Why? Because he doesn't talk your talk. Because he is anti identity politics. He is anti being put into a box or held up on a pedestal as some sort of black savior. He's just a guy who goes out and does his shit. Luke Evans does not want to be your fucking gay spokesperson. He wants to walk into a room and be judged in an audition room based on what he brings to the table. That was the one for me, with the whole business of you have to be gay and you have to out yourself in an audition room now in order to play a gay character.
Yeah.
Well, what if you as a very perfectly valid gay person do not wish to out yourself in front of a random room full of auditioners that you just met? What if you don't want to out yourself to the entirety of the fucking world? But that's the world that queer actors live in. If you are a queer actor, you have to either out yourself completely and deal with the ramifications of that in your personal life, or be canceled by a bunch of random strangers because you're not good enough for them because you don't run around talking about how gay you are.
Exactly. And that's what I hate too. And they, especially like the different tiers of the gay, like if you're just bisexual, you're not even allowed to speak on it because, you're presenting as straight. It's like, seriously, then if you guys can't like figure out like a homogenous sort of message, then maybe we just shut the hell up and try and, be better as people without having all these new rules and ways to bully people into putting a pronoun into their bio, bully people out of the closet, whether or not they want to be. That's ridiculous. I hate that I have to drop the alphabet every time I talk about something. And then I have to justify it with they're not going to let me say it because I'm not as gay as I'm supposed to be to talk about these issues.
Exactly. It's like you have to put yourself in that category anyway. They force you to label yourself and other yourself and put yourself into their little box just to tell you you're still not good enough because they never cared. It's never been about identity. It's about your identity and who you are, and the identity matters. No, it doesn't. It matters. You and what you think and what you want matter, and you prove that time and time again when you shut down any woman, any minority, anybody who doesn't speak the right speak. Hell, I present as Aryan. Does that mean I'm not allowed to have a comment on the Jewish experience? Does that mean I got to wear a yellow star on my shoulder so that everybody knows that I'm Jewish in order for me to qualify as being Jewish enough?
And that's where all this labeling shit makes my brain go.
Exactly.
Like,
And that is my answer. That is my answer to any person who says, you put a pro, and anyone wants to be careful what you say, Jesse. No, anybody who tells me anytime, and this is not me making up shit or whatever, this or that. I had a conversation about this with my friend when a certain law got passed a few years ago, because as a Jewish person, she had the same response. Whenever I encounter a situation in which a minority group of people is forced to, with some public display, label who they are, I am very, very uncomfortable, and I think of yellow stars. And that's not me being sensational and calling anyone a Nazi or screaming and yelling and whatever like that. But the whole, throughout history, the people who have wanted you to out yourself, the people who have forced you to out yourself and forced you to identify as other have been the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the people who want to other people, the people who think they're superior, who think they're self-righteous or morally superior in some way or not. Like, how do you know that their opinion isn't perfectly valid though? And you're absolutely right about that whole labeling stuff. See, my family did come over from Germany, and I do have a lot of Jewish ancestry, but we never talked about it. All I heard was, yeah, they changed the name to sound less Jewish. That's all you hear because you're hiding. There's a reason people hid in attics, and it's like famous historical things. Like, these were not good people. These, they and exactly what Gina Carano had tweeted out, where, it was the people who allowed this shit to happen, and they forget so clearly that they're headed down that path. And I started realizing that, and I never really identified as political or anything other than, well, I'm pretty sure I'm over here because these are my beliefs, and these have always been the beliefs, until you realize, oh, these people are crazy now. All right, well, I'm still my beliefs, but these people are fucking crazy now, and they want you to label, and they're acting basically like the bad guys. They're labeling everybody. And I'm like, I don't want anything to do with these people.
No, exactly. Anybody who treats identity as a measure of morality is a bad person. Plain and simple. Anybody who treats skin color as a measure of morality is a bad person. Plain and simple. And I don't care which skin color you're vilifying. If you act like skin color and morality have anything to do with each other, you're racist. Mm-hmm. That's what racism is. Racism is ascribing negative traits to a group of people because of the color of their skin that have nothing to do with being that color.
Yeah. It's BS. It is BS. And they always, like, it's the same type of thing. And when I see this in a lot of these TV shows like Star Trek Discovery, where they're like, you can't criticize her, she's black. I'm not criticizing the color of her skin. I'm saying that the character did a really fucking stupid thing. But that's racist. How? Oh, because she's black. Okay, but I'm not criticizing. And you just go in loops and circles and circles. I'm like, no. I'm criticizing the decision the character made, and the character would have made the same decision if it were a white dude. So how is it racist to criticize this?
The only answer is, well, you can't criticize black people. Well, why not? Are they perfect?
I'm like, it's not the color. It's not even the actress. I'm criticizing the character.
Like, exactly.
Oh, they don't understand that. And like, well, why are you putting this character in these situations where they're doing the stupidest things? Do you think they can't do any better? Do you think so little of them that they can't do any better?
That's my favorite. That is my favorite. Is when your token minority characters are the fucking most useless ones. Where's Tico?
Oh god, it's terrible.
It's just. Oh my god! Funniest thing. My friend was trying to tell me something because her boyfriend was talking about Picard, the show, and or I think he had texted her something about it, and so she was trying to tell me about it, and she was like, Pickard. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, with Sir Patrick Stewart, and I'm like, you mean Picard? She's like, whatever. I'm like, Hadass, if you're going to tell people anything about this TV show, you're going to want to tell them it correctly, because you're going to be like, oh, well, you know about Patrick Stewart in the show that he's in, and they're going to not know. They're going to go, what weird ass show are you talking about? So if you have a fun Patrick Stewart Picard fact, pronouncing Picard might be a first step.
That show really, I mean, it might as well have been Pickard, because he was just apologizing for oppressing his black crew member who, I don't know, got fired for following orders for some reason. Because that's the world they live in. They don't know anything about the military in these writers' rooms. So she gets fired. She's there sitting in a trailer at Vasquez Rocks smoking space weed, blaming him for having a giant, oh, there you are sitting in your chateau. Wait. You're following. Why? Okay, first off, why would they fire you for following orders? Second off, why are you resentful of him for having a vineyard? Why don't you have a vineyard? Why didn't you go into botany and work your way into, designing some sort of agricultural way to process wine if you cared? But no, she just wants to be the stereotype. I guess they just wrote her as a stereotype.
So they fired the black character for no reason, and then have her go off smoking space weed and being a deadbeat. And
she's a deadbeat mom too.
And we're all supposed to think that's progressive.
Yeah, the government took her baby from her.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
It's an exaggeration. I guess, but she's a deadbeat mom, and I don't know who raised her kid, if her ex raised it or.
I just mean this whole this writing the stereotype character.
Yeah. Same thing with Batwoman. She's a drug addict who lives in a van, and she happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time because.
Right. Oh, we took the black character. We made her. Now that we race swapped Batwoman, we made her fucking homeless.
A homeless drug addict, yeah, who blames the white man for her problems because she was okay. So she hangs around with a bunch of drug addicts and stuff, right? And they weren't her drugs, but she got falsely accused. So she lies and says they were hers to protect her girlfriend or her ex or something. So she's a victim.
I feel so bad for her. She's so sensitive.
And now now it's even better. They brought Kate Kane back as some blonde actress, so they replaced Ruby Rose.
Oh, poor Ruby. I feel bad. I feel bad for her because she almost fucking died doing that.
Yeah.
And she got nothing but hate. The thing is, I don't care if she was a shit Batwoman. She did not deserve the hate she got. Because the thing is, she got it from the SJWs. She wasn't gay enough for them for some reason. I'm like, how? Ruby Rose is the gayest person on the fucking planet. How is she not gay enough? She wasn't gay enough. She wasn't Jewish. There was something else. She was gay, but she was already too established. She already had too much fame. So give it to someone lesser known. Like, she's never been a lead in anything before. So she got hate from that side. So they didn't care about her because they all hated her. So she never had stood a fucking chance. She probably shouldn't have been cast in that role in the first place. And I'm sure she did the best goddamn job with it that she had. She almost got fucking paralyzed doing stunt work for it, which if your lead actor is getting that injured, you're doing something wrong on your sets. And then gets fired and treated like she was the problem, only so Batwoman could come back lesser and shittier and still never have anyone acknowledge that she was never the problem.
Yeah.
I really feel bad for her on this one. I don't think she got cast in a big opportunity for her. And since she's gotten shat on, since nothing's happened but her getting shat on for it, her career's kind of dead. What has she done since then?
I don't know what she's doing now. I don't even, they couldn't even bring her back for because they had her I guess in a coma or something. She was in that plane crash, but then she was, I guess, on a night. I stopped watching. It was so stupid. It turned into a soap opera.
I couldn't get into. I'd never even started. I was like, someone explained the pilot to me, and I was like, I can't.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's I wish it would just embrace its suckitude and be a ridiculous parody of itself. Because you're a parody. You're a parody show. You're talking about they stopped the show to ask a character who is wearing a dress, a male character wearing a dress, who is very stereotypically gay. What are your pronouns? Well, we know. We would be able to guess. He's like, he, him, they, them, whatever. There's a line in there where the guy gets run over and the doctor chick says, yeah, he was hit by 4,000 pounds of toxic masculinity.
What?
Yeah.
My soul just died a little.
It's terrible. I think that was my last episode.
That would have been mine too.
It's that's it. That's it.
Right up there with Bucky just out of the blue going, oh my God, Sam, I'm so sorry that Steve and I never thought of what it would mean to hand the shield to a black man. Also, why did you include yourself in that sentiment? You didn't hand it to him. All you did was just bitch at him for giving it up, which you were right to do. And I fucking can't stand it. So here's a question about Picard. Has Picard taken a moment yet to apologize for any racist things he did back in Next Generation?
I think he's apologized to the Romulan people for something. Like they have a no humans area in one of the episodes where he has to go and pick up some Romulan kid that he dropped off with some nuns, some basically like Romulan warrior nun chicks. Who are like, well, this is a women-only order, but yes, we'll take your bratty little boy that you have no obligation for after trying to save the freaking Romulans from the star exploding, which only happened in the JJ movies, by the way. So he does kind of apologize for that. He goes and sits down at a table where it's printed in English, Romulans only.
Smart, obviously. Yes, that's how we would.
Just so he knows that he's not welcome there, because he's like, but out of all the languages, why English? Why human English?
Why that? Because you really want to make sure the humans know not to do it.
It's like so stupid. It's just this whole show's dumb, and yeah, I think he does go around apologizing all over the place.
Picard, the apology tour. Fuck that. Thanks to the super chat, Mr. Another. Hey, ladies, hope you're doing well. Yeah, no complaints outside of the broken woke world. The Rookie Critic says, what up, dudes? Good points. Taking criticism is part of the process of getting good at a job as well as understanding your audience. Rookie Critic knows all about that. Of the people that I have worked with and looked at their work and stuff like that, Rookie Critic is one of the best at taking criticism, taking notes, and just seeing it as all part of the learning and growing process. So power to you. I'm glad to see you here. Let me see where it was just out, but the cat knocks everything. I had my me trading card around, but it's gone. It's in an envelope somewhere. Freaky Critic says, I want to be canceled for my tomato short films. That would be a worthy canceling. Have you seen any of his tomato shorts?
I think so. I think a while ago. It's been a while since anyone sent me anything.
They are fun. I was watching one of his we were discussing the process of the tomato wars, that it is. I can't remember the name. I'm blanking on the name right now. Forgive me, Rookie. It's been a day. I wake up early now. It's weird. I don't function in the mornings, but I wake up at 8 now, which is crazy early for me. And I have to start teaching a fencing lesson at 9. So I realize I actually have to talk slower at the beginning of my lessons now because I'm not awake enough to
words.
For my words, yeah, my words can't keep up on my head at that time of the morning.
I get like that too. I get like it takes me a few hours to really, really wake up.
Very much so. The Rookie Critic says, how does one level up on the amount of gay? Well, there's like bi-curious, and then there's bisexual, and then there's gay, and then there's super gay, and then there's ultra gay, and then there's pansexual. And I'm pretty sure, although don't quote me on that, let's kick it to our resident bisexual to set her comment.
I don't even know anymore. Oh, I'm never part of their club when they started going around yelling about breeders 20 years ago. Yeah, I'm like, oh, fine, screw you people.
Screw you. I was hard out on the extreme levels of the conversation when in college. Someone that I used to think of as a level-headed person, when I asked them to explain why it was okay for all of my classmates to suddenly go around saying "die cis scum" when that kind of hurt my feelings. But it was explained to me that no, it was fine. It's totally fine to espouse hatred and desiring of murdering of non-trans people because trans people will never be a powerful enough majority to actually do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're allowed to be a shithead if you're not powerful enough to actually be as shitty as you want to be? Yeah, that sounds like a society I want to live in.
People.
People are so retarded sometimes. And that's the nicest thing I can say about them. Well, yes, exactly. Matt Cabal, this was the crux of it. This was the most ridiculous, bizarre crux of their argument. Ruby Rose called herself gender fluid in multiple interviews, which means if you think like these people, she is a straight white male stealing a role. Well, that was exactly their argument. Ruby Rose, because Ruby Rose identifies herself in a way that makes sense to her, not in a way that makes sense to the people who invented the codes for this. She identifies herself as a gender fluid lesbian. What does that mean to her? Insofar as I can tell, Ruby Rose wakes up and decides if she wants to put on makeup and look cute and femme, or if she wants to tape down her chest and look as butch as hell on any given day, and goes out into the world and generally responds to female pronouns. It would probably respond to gender neutral pronouns, but I have not seen anything about her that says she gets her panties in a wad about pronouns one way or the other. And that the way that she thinks of herself is as a gender fluid lesbian. And that means to her that she likes women and that she has women body parts, and that but she has no strong association with the idea of being female. And I think that she is, as to me, every human being is equally entitled to have that complexity of no RJ Oldenburg, not gender fluids, different.
You gotta change gender fluid every 3,000 miles.
And so yes.
It's an old joke. It's an old Rob joke.
Oh, that's a good one though. Oldie but a goodie. And yeah, that was such the bullshit. To me, identity is just that. Identity is like every person is entitled to that complexity. You know, I am happy with my woman parts. I am happy fucking women, and on any given day, but I don't have any special feelings about being a woman. Cool. That's how Ruby Rose feels. I am happy with my woman parts. I am happy fucking a man, and some days I don't have any special feelings or towards what it means to be a woman either. Some days I wake up and I want to look really pretty and really feminine. And guess what? Some days I wake up and I really don't care and like don't have any being female doesn't mean shit to me one way or the other some days. And I probably could, if I wanted to, go, I'm gender fluid. But I go,
how dare you not identify as gender fluid because you feel like this and you have to make a statement all the time. And
I don't feel like I have to identify as anything. I feel like when people use female pronouns for me, it makes sense because I have women parts. I have always had women parts. I have never made any effort to present as anything other than a woman, and female pronouns therefore make sense because they describe the shit on my body and between my legs. And that's what pronouns are there for. That's what they're there for. Anything deeper, anything more about your identity and who you want to fuck and how you feel about your gender and that's just like, that's your life. That's your personal experiences. And if you want, to me, the identity part are just simple, they're shortcut words to help you communicate, not substitutes for the actual full scope of the identity, you know? I think that's where people get really wrong. It's like the words, all these fun new words for gender fluid and gender neutral and 8,000 new pronouns weren't, the desire to have them doesn't originally come from a desire to force everyone into boxes and create labels. It comes from people who want to be understood and who are too immature to realize that being understood is more than just inventing a word that defines your identity. And because they were too immature to realize that inventing a word to define their identity wasn't actually going to correctly encapsulate the whole of their identity, they just kept blindly going on and using it. And it became, you know, a moral shorthand for, oh, who are you? Well, I'm these pronouns and this gender and this race and these identity, these intersectionality multipliers. And those then became, instead of being clues to what your story might be, those became the sum of the sum of it, everything. All you are the sum of those labels that you stuck on your profile.
And the problem is that I see so many people are like, they don't respect you if you don't conform to. It's like, and a lot of the times these are people who are they have no labels and no pronouns in their Twitter bio. They're just random people who are, I think a lot of the time they just troll. I bet 9 times out of 10 they're just being sarcastic. They're like, oh, you didn't put a pronoun in your bio. Because I'll do that sometimes. I don't think, like, if people randomly come across me, they might think I'm serious, but but like, you know, it's they can't take anybody having a difference of opinion. And I'm like, well, you don't get to say I actually apply to this. Well, you have to show solidarity with the community. Why? They don't show solidarity with me. They make me bend to their whims and conform to their, you know, pronouns. And I was here before they were, so why can't my opinion count?
Exactly.
Agree, because you're an Easter. Shut up.
Yep.
Like, blow me. I get tired of these people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, trust me. It is wearisome. It is wearisome. And you take it left, right, and center on Twitter. Like you were I want more people to come after me on Twitter because I just think it's funny and then I ignore them. That's probably why I don't engage with them enough. I don't make it fun. I don't make it worth their time anymore.
Yeah, I muted everybody who doesn't follow me.
That's
Like
fair.
I don't care. I'll chime in, and but I'm not getting any like as many Twitter beefs or arguments, and I'm
Right.
not like I'm just not seeing it. I just don't care. It's like I got other shit to do. I'll go and play a video game. I don't need to deal with people's crap. I don't need to deal with.
I'm so uninvolved now that I'll write her like a really vicious response to somebody that really gets like, oh, you're an idiot. Oh, I'll write a vicious response, and I'll just forget. And like a day later, I'll go, I wonder if they responded 8,000 times and cried because I never acknowledged them. I wonder if they went off gloating, me like, I totally won because I got the last word, haha. And like, no, I won because I didn't actually think about you for another second after this. I went and had a really good day, and you sat there staring at a screen stewing about how you beat me. But yeah, I'm sure. Good for you. You're winning this race. You are winning this race. Amen. People are so fun. They're easy to toy with, though. That's the best part.
They are. They're just they get so triggered by like everything. They just get so triggered and they get so butthurt and they get so.
Dude, that's my favorite part. I'll read this real quick before we dive into that. Some dude writing a book in prison will never be powerful enough to impress anyone in the future. Famous last words. Yep, great point. But yeah, no, exactly. They're so touchy. They're so like you say the wrong, and it's like responding on Twitter. It's like walking through a minefield. You don't even know. It's like you're just trying to respond to whatever they said, and then you said the wrong word, and you fucking set them off, and now there's like a cancel mob coming at you because it's not even because of what you said, because the way in which you replied to that person was insensitive, and now oh my god, it's like the rampant overreactions for the nothings. The like, oh my god, you accidentally slighted me. Now I have to end you because this is the equivalent of a Holocaust against my people.
Yeah.
Like the level of taking shit personally is off the chain,
Right.
Like,
and then half the time it doesn't even apply to those people anyway.
No.
They're just defending on behalf of somebody.
It's like, how do you not realize this is a business? We are YouTubers. It's a job. Wake up. It's a job. We do this as we don't have.
You should get a real job. You should get a real job, and you're just worthless and nothing. Did you see that one letter I got from somebody?
No, did they really?
Let's shame them. Let's shame them publicly. There's a couple of them here.
My favorite response is, oh, I'm so sorry. You're just really, really jealous that you're not good enough to do the job that I do that you clearly want. How's your real job treating you? Do you love waking up every day and going to your 9 to 5? Do you love changing tires or making lattes or filling out paperwork or being a baller CEO, which you're not because otherwise you wouldn't be bothering to write hate mail to YouTubers. So whatever you're doing, you have time and the desire to write hate mail to YouTubers.
Yeah.
Therefore, what I'm doing, I'm gonna keep my day job, thanks, because I don't think that's the only like my favorite is when people who hate you want to come and give you all this advice about what you should be doing. I'm like, I don't take advice from unhappy people.
Yeah. It's like, well, I wasn't asking. That was the thing. I wasn't asking either. It's like I'm not asking for your advice. I probably make more than he does on a good month on YouTube, and I probably I wouldn't be able to support myself on retail. So you want me to lose money from, to where I can't support myself because you have a problem with what I said because you're triggered and butthurt. He had to email me twice too. Here, I'm going to screen share. He emailed me twice at two different, is this the right one? Yeah. Under two different handles. So his first one was Walter Hilligas. And he says, randomly came upon your channel searching for something else. I suspect since Guru just loves you parasitical outriders. There you were, up the algorithm, spouting about the non-issue of cancel culture, not a real thing. Okay, I'm not. I actually took the test, and it looks like I'm center-left. But, I had to look up a few terms because I'm not really political, but...
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, and cancel culture is absolutely a thing. What do you think you're fucking trying to do to me right here? You're trying to silence me. He says, but that's not what I'm writing to you about. I'm writing to let you know how laughable you social media tryhards are. I mean, 100K subs? Why? Do you have a fucking, don't you have a fucking skill set and a career? Oh, that's a round number. He was responding to my channel trailer. My channel, and incidentally, right after this, my channel was squashed, and I haven't gotten like any more views on my main channel trailer since then. Yeah, but no, I did it's a little bumper intro that Rob made for me.
Yeah.
Where I like scripted it out and he kind of tweaked it a little, and it's like the march to YouTube domination. It's like one of those old 50s newsreels or 40s buy war bonds, help the war effort.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's a cute little, and why 100,000? Because it's a round number. It's the next step up from 60.
There you go.
Or 75, but 100's a good round number.
I like it.
You don't have a skill set or a career. What business? It's YouTube. That's why I'm trying for 100,000, asshole.
That's a skill set, and that's both a skill set and a career. Because
like, yes, I do. It's called YouTube and entertaining people and making fun of shit like you.
It's my favorite is whenever people want to come at you with the get a real skill set. I'm like, really? Because if anybody could do this, you would be.
Yeah. If you could do this, you would have a channel, but you don't.
How many people have tried and failed?
Yeah. Are you in any way contributing to society, like helping paraplegic kids learn how to read or something?
A bit. What, are you doing that? Of course you're not. You're an asshole writing hate mail to a YouTuber. You're not. What are you contributing to society? You are, like, by not writing hate mail to YouTubers, Mecha Random is already contributing more to society than you are.
Not only that, he thinks paraplegic kids can somehow not read.
Yeah,
and that I'm somehow qualified to teach kids. First off, if they can't walk, shouldn't they be learning how to walk or learning how to deal with their...
Yes, why paraplegic kids? Why do they need to learn how to read?
Because they can't read. Are you so ableist you think that they can't walk and can't read too?
You ableist, fuck you.
right.
Oh my god, this is so fun.
Not only that, like, first, and I'm not qualified as a teacher. I have had no training. I can't teach anybody how to do anything. So you want me to teach a bunch of people who, for some reason, because they can't walk, can also not read.
Right, exactly.
That would be worse. I'm contributing less to society that way. They would be confused and stupid because they couldn't read. Because I
wish they had sent this message to Anna so she could be like, bitch, I can't read myself, so fuck the paraplegic kids. They'll teach me how to read.
Says, don't tell me. I bet you're one of those agoraphobes who get the hives thinking about walking 10 steps outside of your home. So he's also ableist against people with the mental illness of agoraphobia.
Right? Which is a real thing. And also, by the way, I've been reading articles where they're like, agoraphobia is on the rise because COVID. Everyone got shut down.
Yeah, because people are like just too afraid to leave the house anymore. Yeah.
People who had regular anxiety, like a lot of people who started out with just like, general anxiety, finished COVID with full-on agoraphobia.
Yeah, I don't think I have so much of agoraphobia. I think I'm about the same. I'm just more awkward out in public, but I mean, like, I'm less likely to be online with people because of COVID.
Mean, earlier this stream, you were showing off the awesome room with the orgy tub you wanted to get in Vegas. I don't really think agoraphobes like plan on having party rooms in Vegas, but
no.
What do I know?
And so he wants me to teach people to learn how to read. Then he takes shots at agoraphobic people because he probably is one. Or should I say, your mommy's home. My mother lives like 20 miles away, and because I have YouTube as an income, I don't live with her.
Yeah.
I don't live with her, which is a skill set. Thank you very much. Usually you chud maggotees depend on the parental units for the basic survival, but dare to whine that there's no such thing as social privilege. All right, I don't know what chud is. That like Bud the Chud, like the movies chud? I don't know what that means.
Bro, so are you praising yourself because you pay your mama rent to live in your childhood bedroom? Because like that doesn't make you superior to us who don't live with our parents.
No. I lived in Vegas for like a decade and then came back but I didn't. I only stayed there for like 2 months just to find a nice place that I wanted to stay at for a while. So I wasn't moving all the time, but
Dude, that's
But also, how
everybody's-
dare I whine that there's no such thing as social privilege? I never said there was no such thing as social privilege. I think a lot of wealthy people have a lot of privilege over the rest of us, especially Hollywood elitists, actors, politicians, managerial types, governors, those sort of people. Those people have a lot of privilege, and that affects people beyond race because since we've kind of realized that the physical exterior is not something that the rest of us tend to judge people on for the most part. For the most part, there are assholes out there.
Of course.
That, we are all kind of mixing and living in the same neighborhoods and in the same families. And, a poor white person is in the same neighborhood as a poor black person. And then the rich black person is in the same neighborhood as a rich white person. It doesn't, this shit, there's systemic issues that come from, the elite, wealthy classes and the establishment types and, the people who actually are in charge of running it, the corporations, pharmaceuticals, big tech, all these places. But those issues affect pretty much everybody. And the fact that this guy's so angry at me, he's got to write a letter being jealous that I can earn a living doing YouTube, just tells me that, he's clearly just really interested in blaming other people for his problems than getting off his ass and doing something.
I gotta wonder how sad his own life.
But yeah, I wish I could look him up. I think he's Jersey Wookie because I got pretty much the same thing from another guy, very similar. Because they always talk about my income. They're all so obsessed with my job. Why don't you get a real job? Get a real job.
My favorite is when people, because they look on Social Blade and like, you only make $2,000 a year from YouTube, and I'm like, that's not Social Blade's not an accurate measure, right? Social Blade only takes your money into account based on views. And the vast majority of my money comes from super chats. So I hardly make anything from views. It's all super chats and Streamlabs, right?
But and Patreon and Twitch. But that's the difference though that they don't understand is like, I do have a chunk, which is still completely different than what they report. But I also delete videos, remove videos. So you'll see like a negative dip in there, and that'll affect your Social Blade too, because now you're getting negative views. So.
You know what's hilarious? A lot of these same people who are like, we want, these all the people who want the communist revolution because like redistribute the wealth, give it away. Look, our lives are more reflective of that type of society than any shit they're doing because our lives are, we provide an entertainment service, and the vast majority of our revenue comes from the fact that you like our entertainment enough to want to share a little bit of what you have with us so that we can keep doing it. And if everybody who watches and likes us says, hey, we want to contribute a little bit to that, then you have a very nice merit-based system, which operates on a communal level. It's not communism or socialism or anything scary like that, but it's that wonderful share
the wealth. Yeah.
It is that wonderful wealth sharing communal. Everyone helps out everybody. We support the people who deserve supporting based on merit. That's the type of society that they claim to want. We're living that life. They're jealous because we're doing it and they're not. And the reason we're doing it is because we don't think stupid shit like they do. That's why we can live these lives and be regular people. We don't think
and I'm not sending random emails to people who I disagree with, like labeling them a bunch of political shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a chud MAGA T is supposed to be. I don't know what that is. Is that like a Megatron?
Sounds similar, Yeah,
so I guess he's calling me a Megatron. I'm going to transform soon. I do transform into a giant harpy sometimes.
I've seen
and anyway, give your delusions of social media dominance some time. It's a joke. It was a cute little thing that I said, march to YouTube domination, because Rob does that cool old-timey announcer voice.
They don't understand comedy.
Understand humor. You'll fail like all the rest. Why? Because you're already a failure at life, but I'm sure your parents told you that already.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my mother is proud of me, and she's like, you're actually out there doing something that's going to help lift people up and tell them that they don't have to be convinced that they're less than. They don't have to be told to blame all their problems on everybody else. They can rise up from this because they do have the power. They do have voices. So
I have a question. Whose parents are usually telling their freeloading kids, like in his world, you are living at home. You are living off of the privilege of your parents, and your parents are just letting you freeload off of them and taking care of you, but they're also telling you that you're a failure.
Yeah.
Like, who lives in that world? Like, okay, that's like the stereotype in old movies. My deadbeat son who came back to live at home after college with an angry, 50s dad smoking a cigar and some shit.
It's probably him. It's probably Walter Hilligas himself, because he said, and he copy and pasted the exact same thing.
Like when you write
a couple
such
minutes later.
specific, when you write such specific things and none of them actually apply to the person you're writing about, yeah, it really begs the question.
Oh yeah,
Josh
yeah,
really makes a great point. They want you to get a real job because they're trying to silence the opposition and they don't have anything over you.
yeah. And he wrote the exact same thing under Harl MNTIFA. Is his other handle, but the exact same thing randomly came upon your channel.
Shut.
I know. It's like,
And like no one's gonna notice when you started the exact thing. Randomly came upon your channel. Oh wow, that's a message I get all the time.
yeah. The Chud Shield Maiden. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Is that like a comic book character? Shield Maiden? Is that like Shield Hero? Is that an anime?
Is it Chud like a chode?
I don't know what a Chud is. I know it's like, isn't it?
I'm
something-
imagining Chud to me sounds like a big slug, you know?
Chud or Chaz was the thing in Seattle, right? Yeah. Wouldn't this apply to, because like everything he says are pretty much what SJWs are. They're kids who live at home on mommy and daddy's dime, going around being offended by everybody.
Yep.
They don't have value. They don't have careers. They don't even, like, they just want to sit and bitch and complain how horrible they have it and how much privilege they have and how oppressed all these other people are. And they have to feel like their lives are meaningful by going out and marching and burning some neighborhood down because they're helping. They have nothing else.
The reason that these people conflate what wealthy privilege and white privilege is because they're all wealthy white people.
Yeah.
So they don't understand that the privilege they're experiencing is their wealth, not their whiteness. White privilege is only, in my experience, my understanding. Anyone can disagree. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. My opinion and understanding of what white privilege is. White privilege is the privilege to not be discriminated against for being something other than white.
Yeah.
And that is a privilege. And I'm not saying it's not. That is a privilege. It is a privilege to not be discriminated against for not being white, especially in a predominantly white society. It's great. It's nice. It's wonderful. But anything else, that's class privilege. That's wealth privilege.
Well, white people look down on other white people anyway. If like you're not dressed a certain way, if you're not wearing the right labels, if you don't have the right hairstyle or don't have the right clothes or don't have, like they look down. They call people white trash all the time. Like I got suspended from Twitter for calling myself white trash on Twitter.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
Like this is me though. Oh, I'm not allowed to. Oh no, you're not allowed to say that. Why?
Because it's indicating your desires for self-harm, obviously, and we can't choose that thoughts present.
Harm them.
Okay, North Road Caveman, thank you. He says Chud is cannibalistic human underground dweller. I like your version. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, that's from the movies. That's from like the Bud the Chud movies.
Okay, cool.
I remember that.
Let's stick with that then. Let's stick with cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. So yeah.
But I mean, I'm on the so what do I tell the people who are below me and then below him? I'm on the third floor.
Yeah,
skylight.
I don't know. I guess they're sharing. I guess they're sharing space with Doomcock at the center of the earth or something.
I don't know. So yeah, he sent me the same thing twice under two different handles, which I thought was hilarious. And they were like, "What? Oh, the exact same time, 12:47 p.m. to my business email." Oh my god.
Xenomorph Skull Hunter Sodan says, "Oh, this idiot! I roasted the hell out of him on Facebook."
Oh yeah. So he had a Facebook too. Yeah, he's some. I think he goes by the name Jersey Wookie also.
What a tool.
He's just some asshole, and then he wants to like shame you for. Well, how do you think those people who work on those shows feel? They should feel ashamed for putting out garbage and attacking the fan base and insulting us. That's what they should feel.
Yeah, straight.
They should apologize. They should kiss my boots.
Zombie hombres, SJWs are the cannibals eating themselves alive. You damn right they are, and let's just keep letting them eat each other. Because they'll be gone, and then we'll not have them. Then we'll not have them anymore. So I did want to ask you, I don't know if you ever found it as you don't have to have it. As I mentioned earlier in the show, Gladiator turned 21 this year. Gladiator was the final tipping point for me going, I need swords in my life, and therefore becoming a fencer. The soundtrack is everything. I think to me it's a perfect movie. To me, Gladiator is start to finish a perfect movie. It's a masterpiece. No wasted moments. Every performance is beautiful. Every line has meaning. The visuals, the music, the action, everything pairs together to create a really, really beautiful piece. And it was for all those reasons incredibly influential for me. It was again the tipping point. The Princess Bride is the reason I wanted to become a fencer. Gladiator was the reason I had to become a fencer. It got me fascinated in ancient Rome and a lot of history. It's the reason I wanted to take Latin in middle school, and I became a huge Latin nerd as a result. It got me into more music. Yes, it was a Hans Zimmer soundtrack, Shadow War Child, one of the best. It was probably one of the things that helped solidify Hans Zimmer as my favorite composer. So this movie was influential on so many levels to me. I quote it constantly. I think about it constantly. It matters to me every day. But this is probably one of the first times a lot of any of you guys have ever heard me talk about it on the channel. So I was curious if Mecca had a movie like that, anything in her life that is a big influence, something she really loves, something that was really influential to you that maybe you don't talk about or fans don't know about so much.
Well, I think I probably talk about a lot of the movies I'm influenced by anyway. I can think of like The Lost Boys as one where I just really loved that as a kid, and I still love that now. That's one of my that is my all-time favorite movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, between the soundtrack and the aesthetic, and it was just, I was the right age at the right time for the right trends and the right stuff. I mean, it was the Coreys. I was a kid in the 80s. I'm old. I know I'm old. So that was one of them. And I guess maybe like Return of the Living Dead was another one where, like, if the movie wasn't good enough anyway, if that wasn't reason enough to love the movie, going into the soundtrack kind of really gave me a few new bands to just obsess over, which I loved.
I love
Becca,
it.
that's the movie I always say Jesse hated. I give her shit for it.
Why?
I didn't hate it at all. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny.
Oh, I just didn't think you liked it at all. I love that movie.
We were
It's funny. It's
we were
good.
really fucked up when we were watching it. I was into it. I thought it was funny. I just kept part of it was like we were in one of those spaces where like I kept having to check in to find out what was going on. So when I kept asking you, like, wait, is this the guy and who's doing what? It wasn't because I wasn't into the movie. It's because I was too high to comprehend
It is not an easy movie to follow, even when sober, because that movie's all over the fucking place.
Okay.
Gallagher's amazing.
Good. So it wasn't just me. But it was a lot of I fucking loved the whole fucking like just punk ass kids in the graveyard.
Literally the
So
punk
much.
kids.
And it doesn't take itself seriously. It knows it's batshit. It knows it's crazy. It knows it's ridiculous. I love movies that know they're ridiculous and just run with it. Because like that's a big pet peeve of mine when a movie's like so serious, like, and this is the most world-changing, world-ending thing. It's like, you're here to entertain me, movie. You're not here to give me this,
Make me laugh. What was I saying about that? Sex Drive. That's one of my favorite comedies that doesn't take itself seriously at all. It's so fun because it's a parody of the road trip genre, which is already a parody of life genre. So it's like a parody of itself in a way. And so it has a lot of these like weird meta jokes. And like, or it just takes things too far, you know, lets the actors, and the best part is, Rex, the ragingly homophobic older brother, is played by James Marsden. Yeah. And he says things like, I wouldn't let you drive the judge if it was parked on my schnutz. So if you want to hear James Marsden say schnutz, watch Sex Drive. But watch the rated cut first, because the unrated cut is fun. Watch it after you watch the rated cut. But the unrated cut has things like random naked women walking across your screen for no reason. And moments where they let the actor like ad-lib. And they leave the full take in of every tag, every joke that they made, you know, in that and stuff like that. So it's a fun watch, but it's got Clark Duke is the best friend in it. He's so fun. I enjoy him. It's just a fun movie all the way around. Oh, and fucking Seth Green is in it as an Amish guy.
Oh wow. Okay, now maybe I have seen this. Now this sounds familiar. I might have
really or probably watched it at some point drunk with people.
I'm sure I have. See, I like movies like that, and I like a lot of B movies that are like super ridiculous. I like a lot of if Mystery Science Theater did it, I'd probably watched it on Mystery Science Theater version, like a non-version.
We love those super schlocky horror films, like those barely had a budget ones. Oh my god.
Yes, I love those. Like a Polish Vampire in Burbank. It's a comedy about a vampire whose fangs are too small.
I love it. I need to see this one.
Yeah, it's
Velocipaster is a personal favorite. Mostly because of the amount of plot they try to put in that god-awful movie. Like they try to actually make it about something meaningful, and it's not. It's just a fucking pastor who turns into a velociraptor. It's incredible. You have to watch it.
Wow.
Phil Booty says, just got here, can't stay, and we'll try to and watch later. Well, it'll be up, so hopefully you get a chance to do that. And Zetamore Skullhunter says, one thing I can never abide with this place. All the damn vampires. There you go. That's for you, Mecca.
That's the prequel that they should have. They should have like a prequel of, you know, the grandpa back in the 60s and having all like the hippie vampires everywhere. They should have done a prequel instead of keep doing these stupid sequels.
That would have been awesome, actually.
I should tweet Corey Feldman right now. Let's do a prequel to Lost Boys.
Let's do it. Oh my God. I want to be in it.
The movie I was born to write.
Right? Oh my God. You should just draft a script and yeah, fucking do it. Oh my God. That'd be hilarious. Did I ever tell you the story about how I saw Lost Boys for the first time?
Mm-mm.
It was late in my life. I was like 16 or something. And I had gone to, or maybe it was 15, because this was a summer camp buy, I think. It might have been a summer camp buy or that year or the year right after it. I was with my best friend from summer camp, and we had established this habit of going into like the FYEs or Sam Goodies or wherever and buying just going to the discount shelf and picking up a schlocky looking horror movie. Or sometimes a good looking one or a scary looking one, just anything that caught our attention, right? That's how we ended up watching Alone in the Dark. And we had just, I guess, you know, my parents were a little older. So my dad's 55, my mom's 51, in terms of the years they were born, not the years they are. They're, you know, respectively, my mom's turning 70 in a couple of weeks.
My mom's born 51 also. So.
Nice. Yeah. My mom turned 70 this.
She graduated in 69. I will not let anybody forget that.
That's hilarious. So yeah, all right. So our moms are the same age. That's cool. That's so fun. I've met a handful of people where like moms in the same age. One of Jeff's aunts is the same age as my mom. She just turned 72. 70 as well, not 70. Oh yeah, so they were just like they never told us about the Lost Boys because my dad caught some of the 80s like action stuff. He was a big Back to the Future. Now I don't have a big Back to the Future, but he liked it enough that we had it in the house and stuff. I never really asked him how much of a fan he was or was not, but we had it in the house and all that. He liked enough to own it, I guess. But that was one that was just never on my radar, so I hadn't heard of it at that point. And we were just with my friend at the store. It's discounted. We're like, Lost Boys, what the hell is this? We look and we're like, it's a vampire movie with Kiefer Sutherland in it. Yeah, I want to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And we took it home, we took it back, and we put it in, and immediately opening credits roll, and we're like, oh, this is from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just tuckered in to enjoy the movie, and just like it was so bizarre for me at that age, and with the things that I liked too. I was into vampires and stuff like that. I was into Anne Rice at that point. I was into Twilight at that time. And you know, it was just weird that Lost Boys had never made my radar at that point. And so just to sit down with these totally fresh eyes with no context or pretext for it whatsoever, to just sit down and go, let's put this movie on and experience it like that was like, what is this? And then I'm just, go about my life. And all of a sudden I find out, oh, The Lost Boys, that classic 80s vampire flick. And I'm like, I've seen that one. Yeah. So it was an Insta favorite because of that. Just that experience, you know.
Yeah, I always appreciate like coming to something myself because it like almost feels so much more personal, and it's like, oh, it's meant to be. It's fate if you find something on your own,
right? You're like, I don't like this movie because I was into vampires and everyone told me if you like vampires, watch The Lost Boys. I like this movie because my friend and I were like, what the fuck is this random vampire movie? Mm-hmm. And we loved it. You know, it's such a butter story, a butter story. Gunner, thanks for the super chat. Shout out to Metatron and Modern History TV. They make great videos about ancient Rome and about medieval England. The latter is an actual knight, and trains horses for jousts on his spare time. That's badass. I'm taking a screenshot because I'm going to go check out some of these channels. I think I've heard of Modern History TV, and I think I've heard of Metatron, the channel, not just the angel. But no, I'll have to check it out because that is my bent. I'm assuming Hawk's History Corner, if he's still around, is probably very familiar with both of those because that's his channel bent too. Really, really cool. Also, if you like medieval weaponry and stuff like that, and his history of various kinds, Hawk's History Corner, who's been in the chat tonight, is a really cool channel. Yar. Xenomorph Skolna, thank you for the super chat. Lost Boys prequel with the grandpa and Wesley Snipes as his partner. Yes, Lost Boys Blade crossover.
You know, that could probably work too.
That could
Have them
totally
have them like both come back from like. Well, no, because Wesley Snipes would be too old. Because the prequel, like Wesley Snipes,
Yeah,
is,
if you're doing the prequel, you want him aged down. Now that said, Black don't crack, so with the right makeup, I don't know, you could probably still do it.
We could do like a hell. That's where you bring in somebody like Michael B. Jordan, have him
That's
coming
what you
back in
do.
from Vietnam, and they come home and there's all these vampires running around.
Hell yeah! Oh, I love. Oh my god,
That'd be the
that's a
perfect
great way to do it. So now that they've saved their country, they went out to fight for their country. Now they got to fight for their town.
Yeah.
There's your tagline. They when they came back from the war, they thought they were done fighting.
And it's gonna have all of like the best songs from the '60s, but nothing overused. I'm gonna pick the soundtrack myself.
That's so. Because the thing is,
actually, you know what? I'm just gonna write this. This is a good, even without the Lost Boys, just having a couple of Vietnam vets come back and have to fight vampires. And,
I love that premise.
Santa Cruz
With a great 60s backdrop.
That's what
Oh
you're
my
talking
god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff's on board for making this into a comic mecca.
Let's make this into a comic. Let's do this.
Let's fucking
This would
do
be
it.
great.
Yes, 1000%.
Let's write this. If Jeff wants to draw it,
1000%.
Okay.
1000%. Yes. Please
Let me
write
write
this.
it
I will
down,
help you in
write it
any
down.
way that I can. And
Vietnam vet vampires.
I would love to brainstorm with the soundtrack on the soundtrack with you, because there's so many great baller 60s songs, and people just know, everyone knows the hits because they're recycled. They're still played and they're recycled. And look, some of them are great. A lot of them are hits for a reason. But like the fucking Guess Who have so many songs other than American Woman, and then even like were huge hits at the time too. Like,
Shit, I'm gonna put it like nothing but electric prunes in there. The soundtrack has to have the electric prunes. The soundtrack has to have the seeds. It has to have the incredible string band. Probably, I don't know. I'll figure out something.
Can it have some Tommy James and the Shondells?
Probably, yeah. Why not?
Preferably, I think We're Alone Now, so people will realize that song wasn't written by Tiffany.
Yeah.
Because I'm so fucking the Tiffany song. No, the song by Tommy James and the Shondells. Fuck Tiffany. Love that song. That was my favorite song ever for a long time.
I'd probably put in like Tales of Brave Ulysses or something.
Like
Cream or something for an action scene where they're fighting off vampires to Tales of Brave Ulysses. That'd be a good one.
It might be a little too known, but Riders on the Storm could be a great like pre-climax ride-in.
Well, see, there's so many good Doors songs.
There are. Some of the funky ones too, or actually what would work with a vampire movie, things like the Ghost song or other stuff from that weird spoken word album.
Even some of like the really heavy blues stuff, like Peace Frog or Maggie McGill. Gives some of the really heavier bluesy ones. I love the
Peace Frog. I could see in there a lot. Weirdly like a song like Soul Kitchen. I could see an action sequence too. That's one of my favorites because look at that heart. Let me sleep all night.
See, they're really pre-metal. I love some of that stuff.
They really are. I keep thinking about that so much when I go back and listen to this old music. How like I used to even think when people would say, "Oh yeah, some of the influences," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it was so much softer." And then going back, I'm like, I'm now covering a lot of Beatles, a lot of '60s music and stuff on my Live It streams. I'm actually thinking I'm going to do a dedicated Beatles one on Monday with some other '60s as well, but. A lot of these are just like becoming punk rock songs for me. Like A Hard Day's Night translates into an incredible.
Crystal Pure from the Lemon Drops is an early punk rock song. It's from like 1969. No one's ever heard it. I can't even find it on YouTube. I've got the actual physical CD. There's just so many of these that are just amazing. Straight
up, I know it sounds crazy. Listen to A Hard Day's Night as a punk rock song. It is. A Hard Day's Night is a punk rock song.
Well, they were because they were a little bit ahead of their time and especially in like the 64 era, because nothing sounds like that.
And there were some of the, I was just thinking of what I was just listening to it the otthere day. There's a song and it's just one that just wails on the guitar by a band, like one of the lesser known bands. And I'm like,
Velvet Underground's good too. Ryan Schrader in chat. Velvet, like you can get some good heavy.
No, Velvet Underground is they're I would think of them as one of the heavier bands of their era, or that in that sound.
Our Elevators are great too because they just wail. I love them, but I'm a huge Rocky Erickson fan, and that comes from Return of the Living Dead, where I found who Rocky Erickson was.
Yeah,
from that.
some of these too, some of them are just like so many. Some Who songs are pre-punk, yeah. A lot of the just basic bands, the Tommy James, the Shondells, your little like Beatles knockoff bands were very pre-punk. We Were on My Mind, which was like the one-hit wonder from the We Five, was like it's they have those like very punky, like Herman's Hermits, all of them. It's like very pre-punk. It is those very simple, very driving things, and a lot of it. Yeah, no, it really has a lot of.
I'm gonna steal this super chat. Incense and Peppermints. All right, I'm gonna go get a CD stack. But I'm gonna tell you, Incense and Peppermints is far too mainstream. You want to go with the Strawberry Alarm Clock and get The Future. So I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna grab my CD. I'm gonna get some.
Honestly, Xenomorph Skull Hunter 79. Incense and Peppermints used to be my go-to, like more trippy but lesser known 60s song, and then it became mainstream. Everyone knows it now.
You know why? It's
What
in
it was
the first Austin Powers movie from '97. So, it was the first one that ever plays in that outside the Austin Powers theme. So I knew it right away too because it's in the club.
But weirdly enough, though, like, because I knew that song before that movie, and I was like, oh my god, this song's in this movie. But like, it didn't catch on. I feel like it didn't catch on until later. Like, as people know it, maybe it was just people from our generation then grew up and learned what the song was, because it was like they had to grow up and learn it, and they didn't just know it off their heads.
Because remember they had all those '60s compilation albums.
I owned all of them.
That were coming out.
Yeah,
and
it was on it. Yeah,
it was always like the snippet of them singing on whatever the Ed Sullivan show or something.
You want stuff from Wake Up It's Tomorrow. So that's got like Black Butter Future, which is like all sitar trippy. I do play a sitar. I used to have the actual album of Incense and Peppermints, but this one's just a compilation kind of. It's not all the same, but if I were going with anything of Strawberry Alarm Clock, I probably would go not Incense and Peppermints.
Yeah, it's too mainstream.
Yeah.
Xenomorph Skull Hunter says Voodoo Child, or Xenomorph Hunter 79 says Voodoo Child, slight return in the opening credits.
Maybe.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, so I'll be right back.
I should geek out over music. See, I'm such a Inagata-Vita. Well, Inagata-Vita's so mainstream too. House of the Rising Sun for the Vampire's Lair. Too mainstream. I would probably do an Eric Burdon song. I would probably do No Self-Pity from Eric Burdon, which is his later San Francisco period for the Vampire's Lair, because it's very slow and trippy, and it has kind of an echoey drum. And it's got like a really slow sitar in the background. So I'd probably do that. I mean, I would probably have a rule of absolutely no recognizable hits. Like nothing that's ever been used in something before. Which would probably take, because see, like if you used an Electric Prune song, then that would exclude their whole Latin album. Which is kind of crazy. Yes, and they announced a Black Superman on Henry Cavill's birthday. Yeah, they basically announced he was being. That's a real shitty thing to do too, because like, okay, you got a good Superman that everybody loves, and like, oh no, we got a virtue signal. We tried to cancel. You didn't cancel him hard enough when he was attached to dating Gina Carano a few years ago. I think that's probably why they were trying to cancel him for that, just to paint him in a bad light. But then he's such a likable guy that you go in and you can't really cancel him for that. He's a nice guy to his fans. He's a nice guy to everybody. So that didn't take when they tried to cancel him by attaching him to Gina Carano, because Gina Carano had too much love. So.
Xenomorph Skull Hunter, thank you for House of the Horizon. Now, maybe a classic one finds its way in there. It'll depend.
See, I was thinking No Self-Pity from Eric Burdon, which is it's from his later San Francisco real psychedelic era.
Yeah. That was Eric Burdon is like to me, I'm like the two. If you want to know who Eric Burdon is, listen to musically. Listen to House of the Rising Sun, or like We Got to Get Out of This Place, and then listen to the Spill the Wine. What was the Spill the Wine?
Well, he had the era in between the Spill the Wine stuff, like from about like 67, like right from when I was young to about when like the Monterey Bay era.
So was the Spill the Wine era then sort of the more refined version of the
Well, that was just with War. They were their own band by themselves. I think that was around the same time, but I want to say that was like maybe a year like a year later. Yeah. So he had the late 60s, like his early stuff with the Animals, with like the original Animals.
Yeah.
were that was like House of the Rising Sun. That was like early 60s. They came over with the British invasion with the Beatles, and they were all part of that. And the zombies.
We Gotta Get Out of This Place
Zombie.
was like one of my favorite songs as a kid. I don't know why, but I just loved that song.
Oh, Eric Burden's voice is amazing on a lot of that.
It's like, I love that. He had the intensity, like there's so much emotion in it. That like
this is like, okay, so when you listen to like where the animals are from, they're from the rough Northeast that got hit really hard with the war hardships and the hard times. These are people who were born right, a lot of them grew up without fathers because their fathers were lost in the war. So a lot of these kids grew up in hard times in these industrial sort of steel areas in the north of Britain. And so here's this kid coming from Newcastle. So, that's like a completely different country back then. Even the Beatles, they were from Liverpool. So they were still kind of treated like, oh, they're northern. They're northern. Oh, they're northern. So you have all these bands coming in who grew up just listening to all the blues that was coming over from like the radios that were coming in from the war. They're coming in for the soldiers, all the blues stations for the American soldiers.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of them kind of started off. So yeah, but the early animal stuff was so much more bluesy. They were covering all of the, like the real heavy, like the blues traditionals that were also kind of coming from the gospel stuff too. So
yeah, it's so fascinating to me, like some bands to listen to, like how much and exactly when drugs sound. Tommy James and the Shondells, another great example. I Think We're Alone Now. Crimson and Clover. Which are
like they found a delay pedal and they were smoking some things.
Let's be honest. They found LSD and marijuana. That's what. When I was in summer camp, I had this little red siren light that would just spin around, and we would set it up. We would just run off a battery. We'd put it on the little table in our bunk. My friend and I would sit it up, and we would play Crimson and Clover, and we would stare at the light going around and around. We would space out to that song. We would go, I wonder if this is what being high is like. And now I get high to that song and I sit around and space out and I go, yeah, I pretty much had it. I was pretty right. It was a little more body tingles, but more or less.
I love how like the bands they were coming into it with all these new experimental, like the hardware too coming in for all this stuff. You just had Moogs coming out. There's some bird songs that are phenomenally trippy. If you go into like their deeper stuff or their unreleased stuff, they're using Moogs. They have a whole Moog raga, like an Indian traditional, like something that they would play on a sitar, only they're playing it on a Moog. It isn't the birds doing it. Well, the birds everybody knows, like 8 Miles High and all their
traditional
hippie.
It's funny because a lot of those bands, some of those bands that had like one album of hits or like a few hits and whatnot, if you go into the rest of their catalog, they were really experimental. It's like, they did their one thing and they're like, cool. And then they're, did a bunch of drugs and played around with different kinds of sounds. And the funny thing is like all of that, all the mainstream sound obviously drastically shaped the path of mainstream rock for years to come. But then a lot of those experimental influences stayed too. Ever since the sitar invasion, Indian sounds have had a place in rock music.
As long as the Beatles went to India.
Exactly. And when the melding of George Harrison and Ravi Shankar changed rock music forever. It's cool how that happens. Ozzy North Skullander 79 says, end credits, the Beatles, Here Comes the Sun. I think I was a hippie in another life. I'm going to counter that one with Dear Prudence, because I feel like it carries the same tone, but it
depends on how the movie ends, because it's got to be funny, because like whether they end the original Lost Boys on, they reprise People Are Strange. So it'd have to be like, it almost has to be a Doors song as an homage.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, it has to be maybe Strange Days.
Strange Days would be a good choice.
Kind of mirror it a little bit.
The duality, the callback.
Just to kind of do a send up.
Or anything, anything.
I love the Soft Parade. It's way too long, but I love it.
If it plays into your credits, though, then you let it play. It's perfect. Dad Man Walking at 55, thank you for the super chat, says, just throwing some support out. Both of you ladies can really rant. I wouldn't want to make you mad.
It's probably a good thing. I wouldn't suggest it.
I would recommend it. it's not that fun to be on the receiving end.
And then some guys do like the riding cross. Some guys are like, that's why we're here.
True story. There you go. People are there. People are here for the pain. Some for the pleasure, some for the pain. Donna, thank you for the super chat. Bill Hicks joke. The Beatles got so high they let Ringo sing.
Love Bill Hicks. Oh, I love Bill Hicks.
Oh,
my favorite.
So great.
I see. That's like where I get so much of my comedic influence between like him and George Carlin. Like so much of my I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up like with new age hippie stuff a lot, and because like I just grew up with that era of comedy too. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, my mom was a total Beatlemaniac, so
my mom. That's all we had was the Beatles stuff. So I found a Rubber Soul T-shirt. I'm like, well, that's my mom's favorite album, and that's Rob's favorite album. So I bought the Rubber Soul T-shirt. It's just the cover.
My mom was at the concert in the Doors concert at the Coliseum in New Haven, where the famous one where he got arrested, and she and her sister and their friend went down to the New Haven Green, which was right across the street from the police department, to try to get a glimpse of him. Well, they'd gone down to the police department at first, and the police yelled at them for loitering, which was a crime. So they went across the street to the New Haven Green, which was public property, but the police was feeling like a shit, so he arrested them anyway. And I believe this was because the fucking story where they end up. So this was the part I didn't get to hear while I was older, where they got arrested and they're being held, and they had weed on them. And so they're like, I have to go to the bathroom, like asked to go to the bathroom. So they went to the bathroom, and she's like, they're like, you got to flush it down the toilet. But the sister didn't realize she was supposed to just flush the baggie. And she's like dumped it in the toilet, and it got everywhere. And she's trying to like get it out the window and like flush it down the toilet. And they're like freaking out, but they finally get it, and get out. And they're, charged with loitering, and they come back, whatever months later, and the judge just throws out the fucking case. But, years later, I saw a shirt that was the mugshot, Jim Morrison's mugshot from that concert printed on it. Had to get it for my mom. Had to. Oh, that was fun.
Sweet Dreams Marilyn Manson version.
I like the mix.
God, I would love. I love the Marilyn Manson version too, though.
The Manson versions has its own spin to it. I actually like the Manson Personal Jesus. Depeche Mode is great, but I love the heavy. I love just the heavier music. I
like their version better. There's a good acoustic version of Personal Jesus, though.
Yeah, I've heard that. I actually like that. It's fun. The Doors, The End is a great song, but you can't ever put it in a movie again.
It's
one where it's like,
and it's too. I think something more.
I just feel like the End had its moment in Apocalypse Now. Like, it is so iconic for its moment in Apocalypse Now, or for its use in Apocalypse Now, that I don't think it should ever be in a movie again.
Well, it's like White Rabbit. I never want to hear that in a movie again, but I do like. I would hear Jefferson Airplane's Two Heads. I think that's way trippier than White Rabbit, and it's from like the next album over. It's right in the height of psychedelia, like the psychedelics. 1967. It's from the album After Bathing at Baxter's. I think Two Heads is probably a much more trippy song, and they really misutilize a lot of their 60s bands by just going for the most stereotypical, most popular ones. Like, no, you need to get a music geek in there. That's like one good thing that the 90s had. They had people like Trent Reznor going in and making soundtracks, or even Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo. He makes a lot of soundtracks. He's a music geek. This guy's going to pick some songs that belong on freaking soundtracks that you might never have heard. And that's what I love about movie soundtracks, is that sometimes they'll get me into a song I've never ever heard before, but I don't need the same song on 20 different soundtracks. That's why, like, Return of the Living Dead, going back to that, as one of my favorite movies and most influential things. Like, you've got 45 Grave songs on there. Another one of my all-time favorite, really rare, obscure bands. They do surf vampire sort of punk rock music.
I love it.
And they have an organ. They have a song called Riboflavin Flavored Non-Carbonated Polyunsaturated Blood. They're a funny band. They have a lot of fun to them, but they're also really heavy. They're also so I found them on that. The Cramps, the first time I ever heard the Cramps was on that. Of course, Rocky Harris and TSOL. There's so many good bands that you never ever hear on anything else. or Nightmare on Elm Street 4 soundtrack, Dramarama. You never hear Dramarama as anything on anything else ever.
Yeah.
You know,
It's such a joy when they show up there in those places, though. You know,
yeah, I'm like, oh, I love this song, and then you get in and you find a whole new band that you've never heard of, which is what I loved about going and finding these soundtracks. I mean, I think that's probably how I found Rammstein.
Mission Impossible 2, the music inspired by disc, was my first Metallica song, my first Godsmack song, my first Chris Cornell song, and then introduced me to a whole bunch of other weird ass bands. It's my first Buckcherry song too.
Take a shot.
Yeah, it was very influential. Very influential for me in many, many ways. I agree with Zimmer Skull Under. I love Disturbed's version of Land of Confusion. That's a great. I like his whatchamacallit. I like Disturbed's covers in general. I mean, their Sound of Silence was actually pretty fucking good. Yeah, no, Trent Reznor actually did this. He won for Soul, but he was also did the soundtrack for another movie that was nominated, not for soundtrack, but he did the soundtrack did the soundtrack for Tenet as well, which was nominated for visual effects. So his name was on 2 Academy Award nominated movies this year, one of which was for soundtrack, and he won. So. Oh, yep, there you go. Zombie Hombre knows this soundtrack. It had the Foo Fighters with Brian May doing Have a Cigar.
That's odd. That's an odd combination.
Yeah.
But I think I can hear it. I can hear it, though.
It's a lot more up-tempo than the original.
Okay.
It's weird because, like, it's Brian May, so it sounds right on that front.
Yeah, because his guitar work is going to be at least very similar to like Roger Waters and what's the other guy? David Gilmour.
Yeah,
you can at least get that 70s sound.
And I'm pretty sure it's Dave Grohl singing on it, but he actually does a really he makes it sound. It sounds. He's not trying. I mean, he's not trying to sound like them, but. Whatchamacallit, he does his voice fits well for him. It's a similar, he's got he's got a good voice, I think, to cover Pink Floyd in general. But it really musically just has more of sort of an upper tempo. Like the Pink Floyd version has the more rolling,
that's
bluesy.
They're such a blues band, though.
They really are. They really are. And the Foo Fighters just kind of turns it into more of a rock song.
Well, see, Dave Grohl has a good metal background too. Like my thing with the Foo Fighters is I wish they were less wall of soundy.
Yeah,
because they kind of go in one ear and out the other. Like they need to bring it down just a lot. Like give me an acoustic cover of a Foo Fighters song.
No, you don't want that. I was about to say it's such a tell because he can't not yell through his acoustic covers. I agree with you on that because that's always been a complaint I've had about Foo Fighters acoustic versions. He's done a few of them. I think there's an acoustic version of oh, I'm a blank on the Everlong. But the chorus is still just him shouting, "If everything could ever be this real fire!" I'm like, it's an acoustic version. Sing it, bruh. Sing it. Like the Diary of Jane album version, acoustic version by Breaking Benjamin is a great example of a hard rock song with a beautiful acoustic version. The song itself is heavy. It's got heavy guitars in it. He yells, he screams, all that. The acoustic version is a fucking piano, and he hits the note. He doesn't go, "Tell me how it could be." He goes, "How it could be." He gets a fucking falsetto to hit that note.
See, Blind Guardian does that too. Like when they have a couple of them that they've done acoustic versions of so far, Bright Eyes and Mordred's song, and they're like really like their Blind Guardian they're like a Halloween. They're they sing. They're really really heavy. They're very operatic. They sometimes bring in full orchestras, but they've gotten more orchestrated throughout the years. They started off a lot heavier. Yeah. So the album that they have like some acoustic versions of where they just bring them down so much to this sweet melodic, and then they have I think one of them has piano, even just like an acoustic piano instead of like the big organ that they would use normally. And it's like they just bring it down to the emotion and the rawness of it. And that to me shows like the real depth of a band is like, okay, do they need to be screaming at the top of their lungs all the time, or can they actually like sing? Exactly. Can they actually bring something? So I love Blind Guardian and I love their acoustic versions even more.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like Halloween, though. They're like a German power metal-y sort of. Which I love. I love when bands sing. I always, because I have a lot of metal background and I do like a lot of the metal and heavier stuff, but it always has to be like, okay, but are they singing or are they screaming? It's like you got to kind of have one or two where you're at least singing it.
I loved how like in the early 2000s it was such a thing for the like more mainstream hardcore bands to have like a melodic bridge in the middle of their song. Fucking Bodies by Drowning Pool has one. A bunch of Korn songs have one. Fucking Y'all Want a Single, which is their just fuck you song, has the, we are the ones breaking you down. And it's like
Korn always kind of did. Like Korn, I want to say Korn always kind of did. I didn't like them as much when they first came out. They kind of came around. They're never one of my favorites, but I did finally get to see them in whatever year it was, a few years back, probably like 2015 or something, where they came through, and I actually got free tickets for this too. By the way, I just got mailed a whole bunch of tickets for going to a Slayer concert, and I bought it online. So they just like, oh, here, have all the metal tickets all the time. So I go to the Korn concert, and they did their entire first album in its entirety. I'm like, this actually is better than I remember it.
Nice.
It's really better, because it's like aged really well. And a lot of their other stuff, they did like all the first album, and then they did all their hits. And I'm like, this is actually pretty good. They're actually not that bad. Because I always liked their singles and their hits, I guess, in the 90s. You'd have like All Day I Dream About Sex. You'd have, their kind of main, even like Freak on a Leash up until like there. That's about where I kind of dipped out of a lot of that stuff. But no, they're pretty good.
I loved the bass, the fucking like intense slap bass on Right Now. That was like right now I can't control myself, I fucking hate you. I love that one because I discovered that song when I was dealing with some pretty severe rage issues myself, and so it hit the spot for me. It definitely hit the spot for me at that particular moment. Korn is a hits band for me though, because their hits, like,
they're not my favorite, but I like their hits.
When they got like, because their bigger songs or some of their better songs were really catchy. They had really great rhythms and fun stuff to it, and then the rest, everything else to me just sounded like a more derivative version of one of their better songs.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I ultimately. That's like this, but yeah, I would have loved that. I'm sure they put on a great show though.
Yeah, the bands before though. So I went with somebody, just a friend of mine who's around my age. A lot of these little younger screamo bands were opening. They had like a couple of them, and the rudest people just rush right through you and shove through. It's like you couldn't just say, "Hey, excuse me." You can just tap on my shoulder. You gotta shove me out of the way. I think just to rush up and see the opening band who is nobody.
Right, like I ain't here for them. Like you're cool.
Like
you cool.
It's like, you're 12. We're here for Korn. These guys are from our generation.
Yeah, we don't care about, Joe Bob.
This is in the Rave Eagles Club in Milwaukee, which has like upstairs is like the big one, and downstairs is like a little club. So it's like the Rave and the Eagles Club. I don't know which is which. So downstairs was like a country show. Oh my God. So you see all these girls in like pink with blonde hair, and they all look like they're coming to this little country singer, pretty boy guy. I don't know who he was, but they're all in pink, and they all have like jeans, and their nails are done, and they all look, they're all there for the country song. And then you have all the Korn people. So you have people who look like me, and a guy who looks basically like my friend looks like Captain Spaulding, kind of. Just a bald-haired dude with a freaking beard, just a stereotypical like Wisconsin-y, guy who was into metal in Wisconsin in his 40s. So
yeah.
And then you got, like pretty much all the younger kids for the screamo stuff. So you got like basically 3 different crowds there for 2 concerts.
That's gotta be weird. I've been a My Chemical Romance fan for a long time, and I've seen them 3 times live, and I've consistently said all 3 times, I fucking love that band. I fucking hate most of their fans. And so that's a band where it's like it's gotten worse. Like the first time I went, I don't think I really noticed it much because I was a kid and I was so fucking excited to go. 12. And then I saw them again in high school and then again in college, and both times like it was progressively worse. Where I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody in this crowd. Like, you guys all suck and look sad and miserable. I don't like you, but I love this fucking band. So if you want to talk to me about how talented Gerard Way is, I'm here for it.
It's like trying to go to a Ween concert, and it's all like a bunch of fake hippies who are there just to like smoke drugs. It's like, oh, you guys are like the people who are too mean for the Grateful Dead and the Fish concerts, aren't you?
Yes. Oh God. Oh my god.
It's like I love Ween. I've seen him like 13 times, but man, the crowds are not the best sometimes, you know.
No.
It's like they're kind of like in between a crowd of like it was like the Beck crowd. They wanted to mosh at a Beck show. When I saw him once, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go back to King Diamond where I'm, you know, if I'm gonna get moshed into, it's gonna be with, you know, metal.
I was just really pissed off that the last time I saw AWOL Nation, nobody moshed, because that was a surprise for me. They're like one of the only, I mean, they're like the newest band that I'm into, and they're at this point over a decade old. But they're, I just, it was weird. It was like, Sail came out when I was in college, and everyone listened to that song. And It's Not Your Fault was their next single that was out on the radio. And I liked both of those songs. I didn't realize it was both them. And then a friend of mine showed me the song Burn It Down in the music video, which I fucking loved. I'm like, I think I like this band. And they're probably one of the first like rock bands with those heavy electronic influences, one of these more newer alternative ones with that kind of sound that I really liked. And so when I went to see their concert, I didn't really know what to expect. I'm like, how produced of a show is this? They were still pretty new at that point. Fun. So I saw them in Hartford, Connecticut, at the train station, and Imagine Dragons was the opener.
Oh wow!
Because at that point, It's Time by Imagine Dragons was on the radio. Radioactive wasn't even out. The first time I ever heard the song Radioactive was live at this concert. And that she put on a pretty fun show. And so I'm at I'm in a fucking train station, you know, show, and I don't know what to expect. This was a hardcore rock band. In terms of the show they put on a rock show. They know their instruments, their sound is tight, they play loud, they play hard, they don't worry about any other fun little sound effects and electronic, you know, tracks and whatevers. And god damn it, if that wasn't the most fun I ever had moshing at a show. Not the hardest pit. The hardest pit I was ever in was the Metal Fest at Toad's Place in New Haven, actually. When God Forbid and Hatebreed were the headliners. Are you familiar with Hatebreed at all?
I don't know if I've heard any of their songs, but I know who they are. I've heard of them.
You know, market themselves a certain way and whatnot. Fun fact, my cousin was their drummer in the beginning.
Oh.
And he didn't follow them to the top for reasons. He had decent reasons at the time, but kind of sucks that he didn't. But because of that, when I was a teenager and Hatebreed was co-headlining this metal fest thing that they did every winter in at Toad's Place, which for those who aren't familiar with Toad's Place, Toad's is the CBGBs of New Haven. So the thing with
Rob talked about it. I know he has.
I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure I tuned him out though. So.
I'm sure Rob. So Rob, if he was here, he'd be like, I know about Toads. So these Toads is basically the CBGBs of New Haven, and the way that it worked always was all the big acts that went through New York went through New Haven too, because it's so fucking close. Hey, let's play another major city that's like less than an hour drive. So the Coliseum was the huge venue in New Haven. So all the acts that would come through and play New York, then they'd go, you know, some of those bands would go and play CBGBs in the evening, late in the night and whatnot. They'd go play the Coliseum in New Haven, and then they'd go play Toads afterwards. It is very sad. I still have a CBGB t-shirt in my closet. I never went, but my mom, when I got into like punk rock and all that stuff, she got me the t-shirt, and I kept it forever. It was my favorite shirt for the longest time. It was my most like hard, like, because nobody else my age knew what it was.
Yeah. See, I never got to go. I know Rob said he got to go, and he got to go after like it turned into whatever it is now. Yeah, you can go and touch where the stage is, because the stage is still there, but it's not like a stage anymore. And,
yeah. You should go to Toads though, because it's like it has a lot of the same history with it. You know, the Doors went through there, the Stones went through there, and Bob Dylan played there. All of those people played there, and all that.
I imagine it's like when bands come here to Denver and then they play in Boulder at the same time, like the next day.
Yeah,
Boulder's like the smaller show.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, that metal. So when we went to go to the metal show, I got to crowd surf for the first time, and it was the hardest pit. Still to this date, it was just one of those, you know, everyone's just throwing fists and stuff. But it was cool because it was like, it was one of those two where as a girl you had to break into it like 5 or more times before everyone accepted that you really wanted to be there and they didn't need to drag you out to make you safe.
Yeah.
Which like I appreciate but also like resent at the same time, because I'm like, I want to be here, stop taking me out of the pit. But in the flip of it, I'm like, thank you so much for looking out for my well-being and making sure that nothing's going to happen to me.
Yeah. I've had the best times at metal shows. It's always like the non-metal shows that are kind of shit. Because the metal communities are like, no, we got you. You're cool because you're here.
They have the best
it's not
culture.
really like a whole lot of women at a Slayer show. Women will be at a Tesla show. I love Tesla. I saw Tesla. I sat out in the rain under a tarp during a downpour where they closed Summerfest in Milwaukee. It was raining so hard. And I listened to Tesla in the rain once. It let up just enough for them to come on stage, but no, like in a metal show that's not like a chick metal show.
Yeah.
They appreciate you being there because you're there for the music. You're there because you want to be there. You're not there because your boyfriend made you. You're not there because whatever. Because a lot of chicks get dragged to it and like it's like going to a movie where the chick doesn't want to be and like, oh, you're on your phone. You're here because your boyfriend dragged you. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's why I was so surprised with the AWOL Nation one because it had the culture of like a metal pit, I was used to a lot of those types of shows. It's shitty. It's like you don't really have a pit. It's just packed in like sardines and everyone's just sort of smushing against each other. If you do have a kind of pit going, everyone's being a fuck. Everyone just wants to hit you the hardest and no one's doing anything responsible. No, that was that AWOL Nation one in Hartford was just fucking phenomenal. It was hard for every up tempo. So I'm almost all the songs were up tempo and all that. It was hard, on every song. It was intense. Like I actually hit the ground in that bit. Like I never get knocked over in like a non-metal pit. But I hit the ground in that one at least once, maybe twice, and it was like same kind of thing where you barely had time to register. You fell before 5 different people were picking you back up and going right back in it. And it was just like a really like, it was way more intense than I was expecting it to be, but it had all the etiquette and respect of a metal pit. I'm like, this is great. Oh, there he is. Toes is where I first saw the Ramones and I saw the Replacements in 91. Only club show that tour. Nice. There you go.
Yeah, he's a jerk. He got to see the Ramones. And I probably could have during the Adios Amigos tour. They probably played Boulder.
How many times a day does he like to remind you that you've seen the Ramones?
A lot. That's okay. I'm inviting Tim Goldie the orgy tub instead of him. So.
Harsh. Just careful how you play that. I mean, look, it's turnabout's fair play. If you out, right?
Well, I know.
No, I'm just saying, Rob's he's getting what's coming to him.
I mean the one I've settled on, it looks like they're gonna be charging me $2,000 though because they got all their dumb fees. Ugh. Well, it's not 15 because they got their damn resort fees. So
it's always get you in your resort fee. Texting I literally wore wrestling shoes in the mosh. Probably kept your ankles safe. But we have been going for 3 hours. This stream has now crossed 3 hours. We usually do like a tight 2 on. Well, we try to do a tight 2 on the Matriarchy. Sometimes we do 4. But who knows?
I'm sorry.
You have been awesome. I have been enjoying this last part of the stream so thoroughly because I don't get to talk about this kind of music with mostly anybody ever at all.
People don't really talk music so much because it's like I always feel like I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings if I don't like something.
Well, you know what? Screw it. They like it or they don't. That's why I love Live It. It's so much fun because then I get to play my music. I get to talk about music. I do all that stuff. So that's why I think, Mega, you should look into Live It because I think you have a lot of
time on top of everything else. That's the thing. It's like to add one more. Maybe.
Cut down on YouTube.
I don't know. I mean, YouTube is the winner for now. So.
Yeah, but Living is the contract. That's
like, can they match what I'm getting?
Possibly, because that's the nice thing with Living. That's part of why I was so comfortable turning all my attention to it very, very quickly. I have a contract and a guarantee. If I hit my monthly hours, I get a guaranteed monthly amount plus bonuses for the extra stuff that I get. So, it's guaranteed. It's like it's nice to have guaranteed money for it's nice to be told that if you do this much work, you will make this much money.
Yeah, that's one problem with YouTube is like sometimes like you pour your heart and soul into editing a video that you really, really love, and then it's like, and nothing, algorithm.
Yep. Ryan Shredder, Live It is a new app-based streaming service. It's been around for a few years now. Started out in Asia. It's run by a Japanese company. It's been in America for a handful of years. They've recently merged their divisions, I think, American and Asian, and have been pumping money into this app. So it's a great opportunity if you do know people who want to get into live streaming, if you want to get into live streaming, or you know other people who are looking for an alternative to YouTube. It is a great thing to look into, and now is kind of the time because it is in that sweet spot where there's enough money and support behind it that you can make. I'm sorry about your penis. You can make, the sky's the limit in that sense. There's enough users, there's enough money funneling into it, there's enough streamer support in it that you can make your living on it. And a good one. But it's early enough that you're at that ground floor place where anybody who's good enough can get in and do it. And the best thing is though, like you can, I think, just sign up and start streaming as anybody. But you have the option of auditioning, and everybody who auditions, if they are accepted, gets a contract. And there's different forms of contracts. There's with different guarantees and stuff in it. But it is a contract, and it guarantees you a base amount of money for a base amount of work, and plus bonuses. So depending on the way it's structured, it's cool because it's like, okay, if you're on one of the contracts where they guarantee you more money for the hours you put in, then okay, so then your percentage of the extras that you make are going to be a little lesser. But if you are on a contract where you're getting the majority of your coin payouts, then your guaranteed money will be a little lesser. So it's all like, it makes sense. It's logical. It sets up streamers for the most possible success from them. And there's so many ways for people to support you for free. It's also interactive with the audience. They do like the events that they do that have leaderboards and you can win prizes. Audience members can win prizes for being on. So if you're a super chatter, guess what you get on YouTube for being the best super chatter? Fucking nothing. Guess what you could get on Live It for being the best super chatter? You could get effectively a few $100s worth of free super chats to give out to whoever you want. So it has rewards built in it for users as well as streamers, which is nice. So I encourage everyone to, if you are a watcher, a viewer, if you're somebody who loves watching streamers, enjoys live streaming, if you're somebody who can't super chat a lot, it is great because you can go and support in meaningful ways that directly impact your streamer's achievement score, which is literally like their rank in the place. It's like your rank on the page. It's your search engine optimization. The higher your achievement score is, the higher up you are on the page. And there's all these little engagement things, just commenting, pressing the like on there, which you can like infinitely on there, sending these little things called snacks, all help your achievement score in tangible ways. It's not like, oh yeah, it helps the algorithm. It's like, no, when you like, it adds this much to my achievement score. When you watch for this many minutes, it adds this much to my achievement score. When you send a snack, it adds this much to my achievement score. So you don't have to sit there feeling like, am I actually helping? Does it matter that I'm here? Does it matter that I'm contributing? Yes. Every time you get into a streamer's room and watch, you are contributing, you are helping. So if you don't have money capital to spend, it is a great place to feel like you are really and actually be helping out streamers. There are also opportunities on the app too, little giveaways and freebies to get coins and win coins so that, hey, there is no universe on YouTube where if you don't have a credit card that you are putting your own money into where you can super chat people, there is no universe. On Live It, there is infinite ability. If you want to spend a lot of time watching and going around to the gift boxes when they pop up, and they make it easy for you, because a banner pops up across everybody's stream that says when a treasure box is being given away. So you can go to that stream and try to click on that box and get 5 or 10 or however many free coins. And you do that enough times, now you have hundreds of coins. Now you can send really solid big gifts There's even 50 coin gifts though. You get 5 little treasure chests. Now you can send a gift. There's 30 coin gifts. Now you can send a gift to your favorite streamer, and you had to spend $0 to do that. And I know I've heard so many people say, I want to support you, but I don't have a credit card. I want to support you, but I don't have the money to do it right now. You just don't have to
for that too, because like you can just watch ads and get bits and stuff, and that helps.
True.
That helps. So you can like give them like 10 bits or something, which is like what, 10 cents or something.
Yeah. So I like that where it's you can observe the effect. I'm doing this thing for you. It has an effect. The thing I like about Live It, no ads. So you don't have to subject yourself to, do I have to watch this useless ad that I want to see in order to do this? No, it's like literally click this button, and then when the treasure box drops, click on the treasure chest as fast as you can. It's like games. It's like little games, you know. And then, like I said again, if you happen to be a person who loves super chatting, you know, that's great. It's so much more rewarding on Live It because 100% of what you contribute to us goes to us. And then, and if you contribute to streamers, you can win things yourself. How great is it to be like, I'm supporting the streamers that I love because I want to? It's like, imagine if you were super chatting all the time and you got awesome prizes for doing that.
Yeah.
So that's why everyone should go support me on Live It and support Live It in general. Yeah, there's my Live It pitch. And yes, I'm encouraging everyone I know too who is streaming to be like, think about it, you know, think about it as an alternative, as a viable, this will make you money immediately. Not you have to go over to a new site and build up an audience and build up your revenue streams and get monetized. You could audition today, never having downloaded the app before. Actually, I think you have to download and make up a username. But you could download the app, make up a username, not watch a single second of it, and submit an audition to Live It, and then have them send you a contract and say, yeah, we want you on our app. Here's a contract. Here's how much we'll pay you every month if you stream for this number of hours and meet these other requirements. Which to me, as a live streamer, is a pretty sweet deal. And I know it's hard, yeah, because most of us have a lot of our time and assets tied up into other stuff that gives us that does pay the bills. Where I always came back to is I rode the high of YouTube when it was good, and then every time it wasn't, I panicked, and I don't want to have to worry about the panicking part. I'm not shutting down my channel, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm going to put the majority of my time and energy into a site that respects me and puts the same level of effort back into me.
Yeah, and YouTube doesn't respect it. YouTube hates us. Like we know YouTube hates us. It's like when YouTube doesn't even like respond to, you know, like I've asked him flat out, hey, how come I can search my name and find 7 hate videos before I find my own video on the topic, like 7 hate videos about me.
Yep. Right.
But not any of me.
What's up with that? You would think the person whose channel is the title, like who's in the thing you're typing in, might be more valuable than the total of the video. But no. Yeah. So, in other news, support me on Live It, support Mecca on Twitch. This is the answer. This is the way.
For now, yeah. I gotta see. I gotta look into it. It's finding time when like I can barely find time to do a regular stream on my own channel. Because I'm always competing with somebody else for time or viewers, and then I'm trying to add like cooking streams and stuff, which is really fun. And people like I'll put out a poll on Twitter and I'll be like, should I do a topic stream or a cooking stream? And they're like, do a cooking stream. I mean, like, okay, you like those more? Sure, I'll do those more. I mean, I gotta cook, I gotta eat. So
I'm just saying, Live It is a great place for both topic streams and cooking streams. So, and it's also beneficial and selfishly, the more people that come over to Live It, you know, the more we build our own existing community there and share assets and resources. Because again, the beauty part is free is free. You know, you can this person's good. The number of free snacks someone gives me does not take away from the number of free snacks they can give you. So they can be bouncing back and forth. And if we're streaming concurrently, they can bounce back and forth and support us equally. It's awesome. It's great. So that's and I agree. Jeff says YouTube wants us to promote negativity instead of positivity. Live It likes positivity, and I like.
I think a lot of that is like the human condition, though, like the way humanity reacts to something outrageous or shocking.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, they're not the cause. They're capitalizing on the symptom. But yeah, But I think that probably will do it for today's matriarchy. Now that we've fully solicited ourselves on other platforms too. Mecca, where else can they find other than the place we've just discussed, or in addition?
Let's see. My YouTube channel. I uploaded like 27 videos yesterday.
Goddamn.
Let's see. I'm sure none of them hit. I'm probably gonna do something tonight, some sort of stream or something later tonight. I don't know what. Maybe I don't know. I gotta eat something, so it'll either be cooking or gaming or something. Twitch, Twitter, Patreon, Teespring store. We're trying to use the Teespring store to fund the Vegas trip.
Oh yeah.
To help fund that for the orgy tub with a view of the fountains from the tub and the yeah. That's what we're trying for.
Do you have your link, your Teespring link handy?
Where is the Teespring link? Let me find
pull you
one.
up really quickly.
Oh, like they always do. They do this to you where they give you like the wrong.
Yes,
stuff. Well,
the
here-
link doesn't.
here's
It only copies the admin link, and then nobody can open it. It's so stupid.
creator link. That might be creator.
So the creator spring one does work now because the way they did the new storefront, the creator spring one is a good one now. Here we go. I found it too.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I'm looking. So yeah, we gotta drop the taco. We got Raylo Tears. Movies aren't mandatory. Doge is rising. Doge millionaires out there. I got Doge shirts.
Buy Dogecoin. Buy Doge shirt.
Yeah, drop the taco and the crop circles. What are they? Why are they? What do they mean?
Love it. So there you go. Mecca merch in the chat right now. Also, there's plenty of mindless merch out there as well. And awesome. So stay tuned because Mecca will be on later tonight. So in theory. So stay tuned because you'll get more Mecca if you're looking for that. And then stay tuned because I have a feeling you'll get more Mecca. You'll be getting more Mecca on Mindless Entertainment too, moving forward. So
Meme coins.
I'm always trying to get her to stream with me more. So, if you guys like it, press that like button and let me know.
That's because how people always keep me streaming other times sometimes.
Well, we don't like those mean people. Thank you. Guillermo Coronado says, great stream, ladies. Just Bella says, you ladies are awesome. Thank you for the stream. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are what make it worth doing. Otherwise, it's just two friends shooting the shit, which is great and it's fun. But I mean,
we're late.
Always. Always. It's literally just backstage, just talking and hanging out and gossiping, etc. and whatnot. But you guys make it so much more fun. You guys make it something we get to do for fun. I'm an entertainer at heart, so nothing makes me happier than bringing a smile to someone else's face. So thank you all. As the French would say, Nob Goblin, and God Empress out.